Chapter 1755. Ji Tian could see that the reason Ji Feishuan was able to display such terrifying combat strength was not because of her own strength, but because the life source beast had merged with her body. However, that kind of power was incomparably terrifying. It was as if all living things would be annihilated, heaven and earth would shatter, and all living things would be turned into dust. Ji Tian had no choice but to risk his life and use a forbidden technique. Ji Tian's fist imprint was incomparably vast and contained the lightning Dao origin energy. A terrifying figure faintly appeared behind him as if it wanted to break the shackles of heaven and earth. Kacha! The vast momentum of the world shook violently, and then shattered in an instant. A blazing divine light bloomed, dyeing the entire Mount Musashi in a purple-gold color. Ji Tian and Ji Feishuan's bodies shook at the same time and were sent flying. Everyone couldn't help but be shocked. Ji Tian was an 8th Revolution half-saint. He was extremely talented and powerful, and he could even fight a 9th Revolution half-saint. However, Ji Feishuan was only a 1st Revolution half-saint, and it was because she had merged with the life source beast that she could display such powerful combat strength. Now, it seemed that both Ji Tian and Ji Feishuan had suffered great losses. I must obtain the life source beast. If I can merge with its power, I can even possess the combat strength of a saint. At that time, I will have a place in the Heavenly Selection Convention. Ji Tian spat out a mouthful of blood, but his eyes were blazing. Ji Feishuan's face was incomparably pale, and the aura around her body became incomparably weak. The life source beast flashed and reappeared on her shoulder. Mother, this big bad guy is too powerful. Whitey is no match for him. Quickly ask father to come and beat him to death. Whitey said dejectedly. Her voice was childish, and she glared with her big clear eyes. She was very angry. Father? Ji Feishuan didn't react for a moment. It's father. Father cut me out of the stone. Father can definitely beat this big bad guy to death. Whitey said, her eyes full of worship. Don't talk nonsense. That's not your father. Ji Feishuan's pretty face was instantly covered with a layer of red as she glared at Whitey. Then who's my father? Whitey asked innocently with her big eyes. Ji Feishuan felt a headache coming on as this was a difficult question to answer. Little guy, I'm your daddy. Come into daddy's arms. Ji Tian's eyes suddenly flashed as he looked at Whitey in a fawning manner. At the same time, he took out a pill and swallowed it to suppress the injuries in his body. His powerful aura began to gradually recover and pressed towards Ji Feishuan. It seemed that this life source beast was very easy to trick. It would be best if he could trick it into joining him. Ji Sky even took out a divine spirit grass that contained boundless vitality. It could be considered a powerful divine medicine, and he wanted to use it to lure the life source beast. Bah, you are not my father. My father will beat you to death. Little White said with widened eyes. Ji Tian's eyes turned cold as he said coldly, looks like you're refusing a toast only to be forced to drink a forfeit. Ji Feishuan, let's see if you can still borrow the power of a life source beast. Rumble. Lightning bloomed around Ji Tian's body as he shot towards Ji Feishuan like a bolt of purple lightning. He reached out his hand to grab the life source beast. He could feel that Ji Feishuan's aura was very weak at the moment, and the life source beast's vitality was also greatly damaged. Although he was also severely injured, he forcefully suppressed his injuries and erupted with powerful combat strength. It was not something that Ji Feishuan could contend against. Junior sister Ji, be careful. Ni Sheng shouted anxiously. However, she was firmly entangled by the blood origin pill saint and could not go to Ji Feishuan's rescue. She could only remind her loudly. A faint light bloomed between Ji Feishuan's eyebrows. It was mysterious and unfathomable, and one could vaguely see a mysterious figure that seemed to be waking up from a deep sleep. Boom! All of a sudden, a resplendent golden light rose from the distance. It was like a rising sun, radiating a myriad of rays of light. It was an unparalleled fist imprint with a powerful aura that seemed to be able to shatter stars and split heaven and earth. It enveloped Ji Tian and contained a great destructive wave. Ji Tian, what kind of ability is it to bully a girl with your cultivation? Fight me if you have the ability. A clear and bright voice exploded in the void, rumbling like thunder. Long Outyen. You're courting death. Ji Tian's body trembled. He immediately saw a figure coming out of the golden divine light. Who else could it be but Ling Xiao? Ji Tian's eyes revealed a trace of cold killing intent. His body trembled as he gave up on attacking Ji Feishuan. Instead, he threw a punch at Ling Xiao. It's Senior Uncle Long. Ni Shang, Wu Xiong, and Gao Yang's eyes lit up, revealing a trace of surprise. Long Outyen. Humph. The flipping sky seal can't be used in the martial treasury mountain. With his ant-like cultivation, he wants to save Ji Feishuan. He's overestimating himself. The blood origin pill saint sneered with disdain in his eyes. However, before he could finish his words, his face suddenly changed and his entire body froze. Rumble. Boom. A terrifying fist print exploded as Ji Tian and Ling Xiao collided. Like a volcanic eruption, dazzling divine light shot out and caused the void to shake violently. Ling Xiao's unparalleled fist imprint contained an invincible aura that could suppress everything. Only a loud cracking sound could be heard. Ji Sky's arm shook violently and actually broke apart all of a sudden. Ji Tian flew out in an instant as he spat out blood. His eyes were filled with disbelief. You. How can you be so strong? Ji Tian's body trembled violently as he smashed into the mountain wall in the distance, creating a human-shaped hole. The earth shook and the void rumbled. Even though he'd suffered a heavy injury during the battle with Ji Feishuan, he'd suppressed his injuries and still retained a combat strength comparable to a high-level half-saint. However, he'd been defeated so miserably by a single punch from Ling Xiao. Ji Tian, even without the flipping sky seal, what can you do to me? Ling Xiao stepped out of the dazzling divine light. His eyes were sharp and his aura was monstrous. Moreover, he was filled with chaotic light, giving him an immortal aura. Chapter 1756. Ling Xiao had been relying on the power of the flipping sky seal, so no one thought that he was strong. Now that Ling Xiao had made a move, everyone was shocked. This kid is growing too fast. How can his body be so strong? Lu Yun and Wang Dao were shocked, and their eyes were filled with horror. They still remembered that Ling Xiao was only in the Divine King realm in the Void Saint world. In their eyes, he was like an ant that they could kill with a flip of their hand. If it were not for the power of the White Jade Dragon Elephant, Ling Xiao would not be their match. But how long had it been? Ling Xiao already had the combat strength to threaten them. Previously, when Ling Xiao used the flipping sky seal, they didn't care because it was only the power of the holy treasure. It was an external force, not Ling Xiao's own combat strength. They didn't pay attention to it. But now, Lu Yun and Wang Dao were really shocked. Indestructible divine technique? He has already condensed the leakless real body. This kid must not be left alive. Blood Origin Elixir Saint's eyes flashed with a trace of burning killing intent. Ling Xiao stood in the air, golden light shining all over his body. Purple chi rose, and there seemed to be a purple sun floating in the chaos behind him. He devoured the energy of the heavens and the earth, but locked all of the energy, not letting a single bit leak out. Ling Xiao was like a black hole, devouring everything. This was the vision of the leakless real body. Fortunately, we did not go to capture Long Outyen. Otherwise, we would have died in his hands. Everyone felt extremely lucky. Otherwise, with their cultivation, they would be courting death. Long Outyen, you deserve to die. Ji Tian's eyes were blood red, and his body was filled with monstrous killing intent. He stared at Ling Xiao, as if he had been humiliated. He was the holy son of the imperial obelisk, the crown prince of the great Zhou divine kingdom. He was extremely talented and powerful. He was an 8th revolution half-saint, but he was defeated by Ling Xiao, who was only a 2nd revolution half-saint. This was a great humiliation. He must kill Ling Xiao. At this moment, Ji Tian no longer cared about his identity as the master of Ling Xiao Battle Hall. He also did not care about the consequences of killing Ling Xiao. His hatred for Ling Xiao had reached its peak. "You?" Ling Xiao said indifferently. Everyone could feel the disdain in his words. "If Ji Feishuan and I were not severely injured, I would have killed you like a dog. Everyone, follow me to capture Long Outyin. I will give you the secret technique of life." Ji Sky's voice was incomparably cold as he cupped his hands and bowed to everyone. Everyone's eyes could not help but lit up. Many of them came to the hidden Martial Mountains to try their luck. They might not necessarily have the opportunity to obtain the life secret technique. If Ji Sky could teach them the life secret technique, then they would have profited greatly. After all, although Ling Xiao's combat strength seemed to be very strong, his real cultivation was only at the 2nd revolution half-saint. With so many people attacking at the same time, even if Ling Xiao's combat strength was very strong, he would not be able to withstand it. A purple divine light bloomed. In an instant, it was as if the Milky Way had separated Ling Xiao from everyone else. It contained an aura of great destruction. Those who dare to cross this line will be killed without mercy. His gaze was very calm, as if it was a deep and resplendent void. He swept his gaze over everyone, causing their hearts to involuntarily tremble. Although the secret technique of life was very attractive to them, what was the use of the secret technique of life if they lost their lives? Long Outyin, prepare to die. Ji Tian's eyes blazed with murderous intent. A purple saber appeared in his palm. The saber radiated a sharp light that was suffused with purple lightning. It soared through the sky and attacked Ling Xiao. The black-robed experts behind Ji Tian were all from the great Zhou divine nation. They naturally would not disobey Ji Tian's order. They followed Ji Tian and charged towards Ling Xiao. "Everyone, let's capture Long Outyin together." In the end, some people could not help it. After all, the temptation of the secret technique of life was too strong. Some of them relied on their cultivation to attack. Rumble. The heavens and earth trembled. In an instant, hundreds of experts charged towards Ling Xiao. They were all experts at the peak of the half-saint realm. Each of them was extremely powerful. Their eyes were filled with killing intent. "Senior Uncle Long, be careful." Ni Shang and the other two's faces changed. Although Ling Xiao's combat power was very strong, he was probably in danger with so many people attacking at the same time. Ling Xiao's expression was still as calm as ever. Buzz! There was a flash of light in his palm, and a long sword with golden light flowing around it appeared in his palm. It trembled slightly, and contained an extremely powerful spiritual fluctuation. It seemed that it was eager to have a try, and couldn't wait to fight. "Old friend, let's fight side by side today." Ling Xiao gently stroked the long sword. The dazzling sword radiance was released. It contained a sharp sword intent as though it could pierce through everything. It was extremely terrifying. The sky-devouring sword was born. Although Ling Xiao rarely used the sky-devouring sword since he entered the divine world to hide his identity, the sky-devouring sword's evolution had never stopped. After the sky-devouring sword merged with the innate Spirit King as its weapon spirit, it had unlimited growth potential. It had devoured countless powerful weapons and even half-saint treasures over the years. The sky-devouring sword was connected to Ling Xiao's bloodline. It had also become a half-saint treasure along with Ling Xiao's advancement to the half-saint realm. Rumble. The sky in all directions trembled violently. A powerful sword intent rose between heaven and earth. Ling Xiao's aura became incomparably sharp in an instant. He held the sky-devouring sword and his entire person seemed to have turned into a sword saint. He controlled the origin of Sword Dao and possessed supreme killing power. The sky-devouring sword slashed forward like a golden river. It was a misty and mysterious world of Sword Dao. It greeted Ji Tian and the others. Clang! The sound of metal clashing resounded. Runes exploded one after another. The purple saber in Ji Tian's hand was also a powerful half-saint treasure. However, the moment it collided with the sky-devouring sword, it exploded with a loud bang. The sky-devouring sword slashed towards Ji Tian's neck. Ji Tian's expression changed greatly. A purple thunderbolt shot out from his palm towards the sky-devouring sword. He couldn't help but quickly retreat. Rumble! The sky-devouring sword shattered the purple thunderbolt. After forcing Ji Tian to retreat, it was like a heavenly river descending from the 9 heavens. An unparalleled sharpness erupted and directly cut 7 to 8 figures at the front in half. Puff! Blood bloomed and dyed the void red. It looked demonic and strange. Chapter 1757. The sky-devouring sword blossomed with blazing rays of light. The flesh and blood of the 7 or 8 figures slain by the sky-devouring sword were instantly devoured by the sky-devouring sword. Boundless vitality poured into the sky-devouring sword, causing it to become even more resplendent. It was even suffused with a strange blood-colored sword light. Those who block me shall die. Ling Zhao's voice was incomparably cold, as though it came from the depths of hell. The faces of the people in front of him couldn't help but change drastically as they felt their scalps go numb. Boom! The sky-devouring sword erupted with terrifying divine might. It was like a powerful half-step saint. In an instant, millions of rays of light bloomed in the void and slashed down towards those people. With the sky-devouring sword in hand, Ling Zhao was like a tiger entering a flock of sheep as he unleashed a massacre. Everyone who was killed by the sky-devouring sword had their life essence sucked dry in an instant, and turned into a dried corpse. Blood splattered everywhere in the void. More than a dozen formidable semi-sage experts had died at Ling Zhao's hands in the blink of an eye. What? How can he be so strong? Everyone was shocked, and their voices were trembling. If Ling Zhao was said to be frightening just now, then the current Ling Zhao with the sky-devouring sword in hand was terrifying and frightening. As soon as the sky-devouring sword appeared, it blossomed with a sharpness that shocked everyone. Mother, father is so powerful. Ha ha ha. Kill this group of bad guys. Little White's eyes were filled with worship as he clapped his little hands happily. These people really deserve to die. Ji Feishuan nodded with a strange expression in her eyes. Is this Martial Granduncle Long? He is too fierce, isn't he? This kind of killing efficiency really makes me feel inferior. Gao Yang said with his eyes wide open. Although most of the people who died at Ling Zhao's hands were low-level half-step saints, this kind of killing speed still shocked Gao Yang. It's the sword in Martial Granduncle Long's hand. Not only can it devour the vitality of others, but it can also increase Martial Granduncle Long's strength. What kind of treasure is this? Wu Xiong's eyes flashed as he said in shock. Boom! Ling Zhao held the sky-devouring sword, looking like a blood-soaked demon god. His eyes were cold and merciless, reaping the lives of those who dared to attack him. At the same time, the blood qi in the sky-devouring sword surged and merged into Ling Zhao's body, forming a terrifying bloody light around him, making his aura more and more terrifying and powerful. It was as if the more people he killed, the stronger Ling Zhao became. There's actually such a vicious weapon that sucks the life out of people? Long Outyen must be a spy from the demon race. Everyone has the right to punish him. Shui Yuan Pil Saint roared. His eyes were filled with shock and anger. Ni Shang sneered and said, Shui Yuanzi, you practice the divine way of blood spirit and can also suck people's essence blood. You also have the 10,000 spirits blood flame and the 10,000 spirits blood cauldron. If Martial Uncle Long is a spy of the demon tribe, then are you also a spy of the demon tribe? How can Long Outyen be compared to me? My divine way of blood spirit is a righteous path. Long Outyen has embarked on the evil path. He's not a member of the demon tribe, but he's worse than a member of the demon tribe. The war god temple can't absolve itself from the blame. Shui Yuan Pil Saint said coldly. Boom. The massacre continued. Those who dared to attack Ling Shao no longer had any fighting spirit. They were all crying and begging for mercy. They fled in all directions, letting out extremely miserable cries. Ji Tian's lungs were about to explode when he saw this scene. His eyes were filled with shock and anger. Even if the other geniuses died, Ji Sky wouldn't feel any heartache. But those dozen subordinates of his were all his trusted aides. Now that Ling Shao had slaughtered half of them like chopping melons, it made his heart bleed. Long Out Yen, you deserve to die. Ji Tian roared and spat out a mouthful of purple blood. The lightning around his body was blazing as he pounced towards Ling Shao. Ji Tian directly took out the 4 powerful sage-level treasures and attacked Ling Shao at the same time. Clang! 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 A burst of dazzling sparks shot out in all directions. The 4 semi-sage level treasures collided with the heaven-swallowing sword, and released a dazzling divine splendor. Cracks started to appear on the surface of these treasures. Then, they quickly became extremely dim. Ji Tian could feel that the heaven-devouring sword was able to steal the essence of the 4 sage-level treasures with every collision. It wouldn't be long before they were completely destroyed by the heaven-devouring sword. How can Long Outyen have so many treasures? Ji Tian was so depressed that he was about to vomit blood. Not to mention the powerful flipping sky seal, Ling Shao still had the 9 heavenly Tao chaotic tablets and the 10 saint steel that he had obtained in the Void Saint world. Now, with the addition of the heaven-devouring sword, Ji Tian was about to go crazy with jealousy. As the holy son of the imperial obelisk, he only had 1 flawless sage-level treasure, and it was obtained with great difficulty. However, compared to Ling Shao, it was too far away. Boom! The 4 sage-level treasures exploded with a loud bang. Ling Xiao's eyes were cold as he slashed at Ji Tian with the heaven-devouring sword in his hand. Ji Tian's eyes revealed a trace of pain. A purple ancient talisman appeared in his hand, containing an ancient and mysterious aura. In an instant, he slapped it towards Ling Shao. Kacha! The purple ancient talisman shone brightly and bloomed in the void in an instant, turning into a lightning chain. It was like a lightning dragon exuding a powerful dragon's aura. It intersected with each other and turned into a huge cage, trapping Ling Shao within. Long Outyen, you should be proud to die under the 9-dragon heavenly thunder talisman. Ji Tian said coldly. The 9-dragon heavenly thunder talisman was an ancient sage-level talisman that he had obtained from an ancient ruin. It was said to be passed down by the Thunder Emperor, and it had the power to destroy everything. It could even injure a true sage. It was one of his trump cards. Although the 9-dragon heavenly thunder talisman couldn't explode with all the power of sage-level treasures in the Musashi Mountain, it was infinitely close to the power of sage-level treasures. As long as he could kill Ling Shao, it would be worth it. Explode! Following Ji Tian's cold shout, the 9 lightning dragons surrounding Ling Shao exploded in an instant. The terrifying power of sage-level treasures erupted like the first lightning at the beginning of the world, containing the power of great destruction. Ling Shao was drowned by the lightning that filled the sky. 9-dragon heavenly thunder talisman. In order to kill Long Outyen, Ji Tian actually took out such a supreme sage-level talisman. It seems that Long Outyen is dead for sure. This is the legendary sage-level talisman that can injure a sage. Everyone exclaimed in surprise, their eyes filled with disbelief. Even a 9th revolution half-saint would undoubtedly die under the 9-dragon heavenly thunder talisman, let alone a 2nd revolution half-saint like Ling Shao. Chapter 1758. Rumble. The terrifying lightning engulfed Ling Shao, and the void shattered like a mirror. Chaotic mist filled the air, and everything seemed to have ceased to exist. Roar. Within the endless lightning, only the 9 lightning dragons were roaring. They exploded with an ancient and powerful dragon might, causing people to tremble all over. Their eyes were filled with shock. Ji Feishuan, Ni Shang, Wu Xiong, and Gao Yang's expressions changed instantly, revealing an incomparably worried expression. This was a Supreme Saint talisman. Although Saint energy was prohibited on Mount Musashi, the 9-dragon Heavenly Thunder Talisman's power was still unleashed to the extreme. It made them feel that if they were hit by this Saint talisman, their souls would scatter in an instant. Crack! However, suddenly, a purplish-golden bolt of lightning rose up in the sky. An ancient and mysterious dragon's roar rang out in an instant. An extremely mysterious figure seemed to appear and began to devour the vast power of lightning in the surroundings. Very soon, it gradually solidified. It was a majestic and ancient silhouette that stood in the sky. Lightning flashed around his body, and purple clouds rose around him. It was as if he was the god of thunder from the ancient times, and he unleashed a heaven-shaking, earth-shattering power. The lightning that filled the sky was devoured by that figure, and in the end, the chaotic aura filled the air. That figure actually turned into Ling Xiao's appearance and walked out of the endless lightning. He was unharmed. How is this possible? Someone's body trembled, and he couldn't even speak clearly. His eyes were filled with disbelief. Under the 9-dragon Heavenly Thunder Talisman's explosion, not only was Ling Xiao not killed, he was not even seriously injured. He walked out unharmed, shocking everyone. How did he do it? This Long Out Yen is too terrifying. Everyone had the same question in their hearts, and they did not dare to believe everything that was happening before their eyes. Thunder Emperor's true body. Long Out Yen, you actually dared to steal my 9-layered Imperial Gates Supreme Saint technique, the Thunder Emperor technique? You're simply courting death. Ji Sky's eyes were filled with disbelief, and then he became furious. His blood-red eyes were filled with blazing killing intent. Even though that aura was just a flash, Ji Sky still recognized it. Ling Xiao cultivated the 9-layered Imperial Obelisk Supreme Lightning Dao Saint technique, the Lightning Emperor technique. Only the Lightning Emperor technique was capable of so easily neutralizing the power of the 9 Dragons' Heavenly Lightning Talisman, and even devouring it to condense the Lightning Emperor's true body. What? Long Out Yen actually cultivated the Lightning Emperor technique? That's impossible, right? Shocking things happened one after another. Everyone hadn't recovered from the shock of seeing Ling Xiao escape unscathed from the 9 Dragons' Heavenly Thunder Talisman. Suddenly hearing Ji Tian's words, everyone was even more shocked. What was the Lightning Emperor technique? The Supreme Saint technique of the 9-fold Imperial Obelisk contained the Thunder Dao origin energy. It was terrifying and could be said to be the #1 offensive saint technique of the 9-fold Imperial Obelisk. Only true disciples could cultivate it. If Ling Xiao had really secretly learned the Thunder Emperor technique, then the 9 Imperial Gates and Ling Xiao would probably have a fight to the death. It would be even more serious than killing the 9 Imperial Gates' true disciple. After all, a sect's Supreme Saint technique was its foundation. It was impossible to allow it to be leaked. However, no one saw clearly whether Ling Xiao had used the Lightning Emperor technique, so they were somewhat skeptical of Ji Tian's words. Ling Xiao naturally wouldn't admit it, even though he had just used the Lightning Emperor technique to neutralize the 9 Dragons' Heavenly Lightning Talisman. Ling Xiao sneered. Ji Tian, if you want to kill me, just do it. There's no point in framing me like this. I clearly used my War God Hall's Divine Firmament World Annihilation Lightning Dao. How can a mere 9 Dragons' Heavenly Lightning Talisman break my War God Hall's Divine Firmament World Annihilation Lightning Dao? Long Out Yen, don't try to quibble. You dare to secretly learn my 9-fold Imperial Obelisk's Lightning Emperor technique? You're dead meat. No one can save you this time. Ji Tian's eyes were blood-red, filled with cold killing intent. Is that so? Then I want to see if it's you who dies or me. Ling Xiao's eyes flashed with killing intent, and a terrifying sword intent rose around him. In an instant, the sky-devouring sword bloomed with a blazing light and slashed toward Ji Tian like a resplendent galaxy. Among the crowd, only Ji Tian realized that Ling Xiao had used the Lightning Emperor technique. If he really told the higher-ups of the 9-fold Imperial Obelisk, it wouldn't just be Huang Tai coming to the War God Hall to denounce them. This Ji Tian must die. Ji Tian's expression was incomparably ugly. Ling Xiao held the sky-devouring sword, and his aura was incomparably sharp. His attacks were incomparably ruthless, making him feel extremely sullen. Ji Tian's previous battle with Ji Feishuan could be said to be a lose-lose situation, and he himself was severely injured. If he was at his peak, he was confident that he could fight Ling Xiao. However, not only did he feel powerless now, but his internal injuries were also showing signs of worsening. Rumble. Purple runes gushed out from Ji Tian's palm and collided with the sky-devouring sword. However, the purple runes were instantly destroyed, leaving a deep wound on his palm. Ji Tian quickly retreated, dodging the sky-devouring sword's sharp edge. Long out Yen, you deserve to die. The Blood Origin Pill Saint also saw that Ji Tian's current condition was not good. He was instantly enraged, and a bloody light surrounded him. He was about to give up on Ni Shang and attack Ling Xiao. Blood Origin Pill Saint, you want to leave just like that? I'm afraid it won't be that easy, right? A cold light flashed in Ni Shang's eyes. The ancient sword in her hand was extremely fast, as though it had transcended time and space. It became even sharper and fiercer, constantly attacking the vital parts of the Blood Origin Pill Saint's body. Ni Shang's heart was also stifled. Previously, the Blood Origin Pill Saint stopped her from saving Ji Feishuan. Now, she naturally couldn't let the Blood Origin Pill Saint go to save Ji Tian. Everyone was already in a real fight. As for the consequences of killing Ji Tian, it wasn't something they needed to consider now. Rumble. A fierce great battle broke out once again. Ji Tian became surrounded by perilous situations. Lu Yun and Gao Yang's eyes flashed. They didn't choose to save Ji Tian. On the contrary, if Ling Xiao killed Ji Tian, the relationship between the War God Hall and the Ninefold Imperial Obelisk would be completely broken. This was what the Heavenly Curse sect and the Five Elements Saint sect were most willing to see. Puff! A bloody light filled the air. The sky-devouring sword soared into the sky, leaving a deep wound on Ji Tian's chest. If Ji Tian hadn't dodged quickly, it seemed like his entire body would have been split into two. The sky-devouring sword flashed with a demonic bloody light. A portion of Ji Tian's blood essence had been devoured by the sky-devouring sword, turning into majestic life essence. It merged into Ling Xiao's body, causing Ling Xiao's aura to become even stronger. Ji Sky's expression became more and more unsightly. His eyes were filled with anger and killing intent. This battle made him feel incomparably sullen, and the battle strength that Ling Xiao had erupted with made him incomparably shocked in his heart. Chapter 1759. Boom! Just as everyone was fighting fiercely, rays of blood-red light spread out and merged with the Jade Wall of Life. The Jade Wall of Life shone brightly and instantly released a blazing blood-red divine light. The Jade Wall of Life began to tremble. 36 rays of divine light were instantly released from the Jade Wall of Life. They shot directly onto the stone futons in front of them, causing the 36 stone futons to emit a majestic aura of life. The Jade Wall of Life has opened. Everyone's body trembled. Then, they were overjoyed. The 36 stone futons shone brightly and were filled with vitality. There was a powerful Taoist rhyme intertwining with them, forming a mysterious connection with the Jade Wall of Life. It made people want to sit on them at a glance. Everyone, quickly snatched the stone futons. Everyone's eyes were filled with excitement. There were hundreds of people here, but there were only 36 stone futons. If they wanted to snatch the stone futons, there would definitely be a fierce battle. Moreover, among the 36 stone futons, the closer to the front, the better. The chances of comprehending the secret skill of life would be higher. Lu Yun, Wang Dao, and the others who were fighting fiercely no longer had any intention to continue fighting. All of them rushed towards the stone praying mat and aimed at the first position. Get lost! Lu Yun's eyes were cold. He waved his sleeve and jade-colored runes spread out. They looked dazzling and flew directly towards Wu Xiong. They exploded with a loud bang. Lu Yun, on the other hand, moved towards the stone futon. Lu Yun, come back here. Wu Xiong's qi and blood surged to the sky. His eyes were extremely red, and he did not dodge at all. He directly collided with the runes in the sky. Chaotic qi spread out, and the runes exploded around him, leaving bloody wounds on his body. However, Wu Xiong did not even frown. He followed Lu Yun's figure closely and reached out to grab Lu Yun's head. Wang Dao and Gao Yang, Ni Shang, and the Blood Origin Alchemy Saint also erupted in an intense battle. They all flew towards the 36 stone futons. The first position is mine. Ji Tian's eyes were blazing. After discovering that the jade disc of life had opened, he spat out a mouthful of blood from Ling Zhao's attack. However, he was extremely fast and took the lead to fly towards the first stone cushion. As long as he occupied one of the 36 stone praying mats, he would be protected by the life jade wall. There would be a life barrier around him and he would not be attacked by others. Ji Sky swore in his heart. Once he obtained the life secret technique, he would summon de Zhou Tian's formless sword array and Zhou Tian's sword. That would be the day Ling Xiao died. Just as Ji Sky was about to land on the stone praying mat, a white shadow suddenly crashed towards Ji Sky. Pa! It was the life source beast, Little White. Like a bolt of white lightning, its furry little claws slapped Ji Tian's face. Although Whitey looked very cute, the terrifying power in its body was not small. Only to hear a crisp sound transmitted over, Ji Sky was directly sent flying out. This seat belongs to my mother, you big bad guy. Whitey said in a childish voice. Whoosh! Ji Feishuan was supported by Whitey and landed directly on the first stone praying mat. Suddenly, a bright white light bloomed and turned into a life barrier, enveloping Ji Feishuan and Whitey. Ji Tian was stunned. When he came to his senses, he was so angry that his whole body was trembling. His handsome face was distorted, and his eyes were filled with monstrous anger and killing intent. Before he could say anything, a snow-white sword light streaked across the sky. Its speed was extremely fast, and in an instant, it pierced through Ji Tian's chest and nailed him to the mountain wall in the distance. Ling Zhao's gaze was incomparably sharp. The sky-devouring sword bloomed with a bright light, and a blood-red color permeated the air as it began to devour the majestic vitality in Ji Tian's body. As the saying goes, take the enemy's life when they are sick. Ling Xiao wanted to take advantage of this opportunity to kill Ji Tian directly. Ji Tian's body turned cold, and in an instant, his soul almost left his body. His eyes were filled with incomparable horror. Get out of my way! Ji Tian roared. He could feel that the sky-devouring sword was stealing the energy in his body. In the blink of an eye, a small part of his life source had been devoured by the sky-devouring sword. If this continued, his life source would be completely devoured by the sky-devouring sword sooner or later, and he would become a dried corpse. Under this kind of threat, Ji Tian immediately began to fight with all his might. His body bloomed with a bright holy light, and a terrifying force erupted from his palms. He directly grabbed the sky-devouring sword and pulled it out from his chest. The sky-devouring sword hummed and trembled, containing a bloodthirsty killing intent. It was as if it would pierce a bloody hole in Ji Tian's body at any time. Long Out Yen, you are courting death. Seeing this scene, the Blood Origin Pill Saint was instantly enraged. He gave up fighting with Nick Hang for the stone praying mat and turned into a blood-red light, suddenly rushing towards Ling Xiao. At this moment, Ling Xiao was already close to Ji Tian, and he was about to smash Ji Tian's head with a punch. Boom! The Blood Origin Pill Saint's body was enveloped in the 10,000 spirits blood flame as if it was burning. He erupted with the peak of a 9th Revolution half-saint and directly collided with Ling Xiao's attack, forcing Ling Xiao to retreat. Long Out Yen, I will not rest until you die. Ji Tian looked at Ling Xiao with incomparable hatred. Just now, he really felt that death was approaching. If the Blood Origin Pill Saint had not blocked Ling Xiao's fatal attack, he was afraid that he would have died in Ling Xiao's hands. Ji Tian said ruthlessly, and his entire body instantly shifted away. He directly chose a stone praying mat and sat down on it. He was afraid that if he had been a little slower, he would have really died in Ling Xiao's hands. However, what made Ji Tian feel incomparably sullen was that the stone praying mat he chose was the last one. Although the boundary of life rose around him, the majestic life energy was obviously much weaker than Ji Feishuan's stone praying mat. Although Ji Tian was extremely unwilling, he could only seize the time to absorb the surrounding life energy. He began to heal himself while preparing to comprehend the secret skill of life at the same time. What a pity! A trace of pity flashed in Ling Xiao's eyes. If the blood origin pill saint had not stopped him, Ji Tian would have died in his hands. Whoosh! After Ling Xiao and the blood origin pill saint collided, Ling Xiao directly used the secret skill of teleportation. In an instant, he appeared behind Ji Feishuan, where the second stone praying mat was located. At this moment, Lu Yun and Wang Dao were already close to the stone praying mat. The two of them also noticed Ling Xiao, and a trace of ferocious killing intent flashed in their eyes. They were about to join forces to attack Ling Xiao so that they could seize the second stone praying mat's position. However, Ling Xiao only smiled at them and softly uttered a word. Freeze. Chapter 1760. Even though Lu Yun and Wang Dao were powerful, they still fell for Ling Xiao's time cycle. Boom! Ling Xiao sat cross-legged on the stone futon. His body was surrounded by a majestic aura of life. The radiance was dazzling and formed a powerful boundary of life. Thank you for letting me win. Ling Xiao smiled faintly at Lu Yun and Wang Dao. Lu Yun and Wang Dao were so depressed that they almost vomited blood. Although the power of time cycle only made them pause for a breath's time was enough to change many things. Not only did Ling Xiao occupy the second stone futon, but Ni Shang, Wu Xiong, and Gao Yang also occupied the third, fourth, and fifth stone futons. Long out Yen, you and I are irreconcilable. Wang Dao roared furiously. He glared at Ling Xiao and turned to pounce on the other stone futons. Lu Yun and Wang Dao were powerful and quickly occupied the sixth and seventh stone futons. The Blood Yuan Elixir Saint occupied the eighth stone futon. The other stone futons also had owners very quickly. Only Ji Tian was the most miserable. He was forced by Ling Xiao to choose the 36th stone futon. Rumble. When the 36 stone futons had owners, the Jade Wall of Life suddenly released a dazzling light. It was vast and ancient and contained a majestic aura of life. It was as if a mysterious world had been opened. All 36 of them were enveloped by it and fell into a mysterious realm. Boom! When Ling Xiao opened his eyes, he immediately came to an unfamiliar world. The world was fiery red and filled with thick black smoke. The dense aura of death permeated the air, making people feel as if they had come to a land of death. Ling Xiao was tied to a metal pillar, and all the energy in his body had disappeared. He became extremely weak, and the metal pillar behind him was burned red. It was branded on his back, burning his skin and flesh, and emitting a charred smell. The pain seemed to be magnified by 100 times. Even with Ling Xiao's willpower, he couldn't help but frown. What is this place? Ling Xiao was puzzled. Wasn't he comprehending the secret skill of life in front of the Jade Wall of Life? Why did he come to such a place? Was it an illusion? Ling Xiao couldn't be sure, but the pain was real, and it seemed like it would never end. This is the hell of tongue ripping. Hee hee. Kid, you sowed discord and slandered others while you were alive. That's why you were sent to this hell of tongue ripping after your death. You'll have to suffer 1,000 types of torture and pain in order to wash away your sins. Open your mouth obediently and let me pull out your tongue. A sinister voice sounded. 2 ferocious-looking messengers of death appeared in front of Ling Xiao. They were surrounded by a dense ghost qi. Their eyes were blood-red and filled with cruelty. Tongue-ripping hell. 18 levels of hell. Ling Xiao's eyes flashed. It was rumored that after a person died and entered the cycle of reincarnation, they could be reborn. However, those who had committed grave sins would enter the 18 levels of hell and suffer endless pain and torment. Inside the jade annulus of life were the 18 levels of hell. That's right. Ling Xiao, you're already dead. You died in the supreme celestial region of the divine world, in the great Zhou divine country's Martial Mountain. You died while trying to comprehend the jade annulus of life. King Yama has sentenced you to the 18 levels of hell. This is only the first level. You can slowly enjoy it. The two messengers of death laughed coldly. Then, without any explanation, they walked forward. One of them pried open Ling Xiao's mouth while the other took out a pair of iron-red pincers. They clamped onto Ling Xiao's tongue and pulled with all their might. The smell of burnt flesh mixed with fresh blood. The pain was magnified countless times. Ling Xiao was in so much pain that he felt as if he was going to die here. If this is an illusion, isn't it too realistic? I cultivate the great empty heart charm scripture and have a treasure like the wordless heavenly book. It's impossible for me not to sense an illusion. Could it be that I'm really dead? Amidst the endless pain, Ling Xiao even began to doubt his current situation. After all, Ling Xiao did not have a single trace of cultivation. He was like a mortal being tortured by these two brats. The pain of having his tongue pulled out was really fucking painful. Bang! After Ling Xiao's tongue was forcefully pulled out by the messengers of death, blood spurted out of his mouth. However, a new tongue grew out of his mouth. The messengers of death did not seem to know fatigue. They extended their fiery red pincers and began to pull out his tongue again. Just like that, Ling Xiao did not know whether his tongue was pulled out 1,000 or 10,000 times. Even with his willpower, he could not bear it anymore. In the end, he fell into endless darkness. Was he really dead just like that? In the darkness, Ling Xiao seemed to see a new world. It was still the same world. The sky was dark and gloomy. The only difference was that there were two messengers of death. Ling Xiao's hands and legs were tied. The two messengers of death held large scissors in their hands and had sinister smiles on their faces. Ling Xiao, welcome to the second level of the Hell of Scissors. The two of us will treat you well. After speaking, the two messengers of death walked forward with sinister smiles. They began to use the large scissors to cut off Ling Xiao's 10 fingers. Hiss! Ling Xiao sucked in a breath of cold air. As the saying went, the 10 fingers were connected to the heart. He was now immortal, and all the divine abilities on his body had disappeared. A heart-wrenching pain came from where his 10 fingers were cut off, causing Ling Xiao's face to turn incomparably pale. After his 10 fingers were cut off, Ling Xiao's 10 fingers quickly grew back. The cycle repeated. The pain was maddening, as if there was no end to it. I'm not dead. Although Ling Xiao's face was incomparably pale from the pain, his eyes were incomparably bright. This was because he could sense that there was a trace of vitality in his body. It was this trace of vitality that allowed his tongue to grow back and his severed fingers to regrow. In hell, there was no vitality. Ling Xiao could already confirm that perhaps the 18 levels of hell were some kind of test. A test to obtain the secret of life. Soon, Ling Xiao's consciousness fell into darkness. The third level, Hell of Trees of Steel. The fourth level, Hell of Mirrors of Retribution. The fifth level, Hell of Steamers. Just like that, Ling Xiao experienced the torment of hell after hell. His tongue was pulled out, his 10 fingers were cut off, his heart was pierced by thousands of arrows, and he was burned to ashes. He experienced a mountain of knives and a sea of fire. All kinds of torture made him experience the fear of life and the unbearable pain of death. If it was an ordinary person, after experiencing this series of oppression, even if they didn't die, they would have gone completely crazy. However, Ling Xiao firmly believed that all of this was a test. Or rather, all of this was just an illusion. His tempered heart had never wavered in the slightest. Chapter 1761. The 18th level, Hell of Sawing. When Ling Xiao was sawed into two again and again, and even had to look at his own flesh and blood with his own eyes, Ling Xiao suddenly had an epiphany. Life and death were never diametrically opposed. Life and death complemented each other. The extreme of life was death, and the extreme of death was life. If one wanted to understand the preciousness of life, perhaps one had to understand the fear and pain of death. Was the Jade Wall of Life trying to let people understand the mystery of life in this way? It was just that this method was too cruel. If it weren't for his strong will, he would probably have gone mad after walking through the 18 levels of hell. It was even more impossible for him to maintain a clear and calm mind like Ling Xiao, pondering the meaning of life. How can one know life without knowing death? Ling Xiao's eyes shone with a bright light. Rumble. When this thought appeared in Ling Xiao's mind, the world around him suddenly shattered. The 18 levels of hell and the ghost servants all disappeared. Ling Xiao's consciousness seemed to have entered the depths of the Jade Wall of Life. The surroundings were filled with chaotic fog, and two ancient stone tablets appeared in front of him. The two stone tablets, one black and one white, flowed with a mysterious aura. They were ancient and mysterious. After Ling Xiao appeared, the two stone tablets instantly shone brightly, and two mysterious scriptures appeared. Like flowing light, they surged into Ling Xiao's body. Rumble. The wordless heavenly book trembled violently. The two scriptures, one black and one white, entered Ling Xiao's sea of consciousness like two black and white divine dragons, and were instantly swallowed by the wordless heavenly book. The wordless heavenly book shone brightly, exuding an extremely excited fluctuation. Chaotic fog filled the air, and two ancient secret skills appeared on it. Secret skill of life. Incomplete, secret skill of death. Incomplete, it's actually the secret skill of life and the secret skill of death. But why is there a secret skill of death here? And both of them are incomplete. Ling Xiao's body trembled, and a look of incomparable surprise appeared in his eyes. However, he was immediately puzzled. The Jade Wall of Life was too mysterious, and Ling Xiao couldn't figure out its depth. Especially when the 18 levels of hell were able to block Ling Xiao's perception of the Heart Realm and the wordless heavenly book. This could only mean that the Jade Wall of Life wasn't simple. However, it was only rumored that there was a secret skill of life in the Martial Mountain. No one had ever said that there was a secret skill of life and death. Ling Xiao guessed that he was probably the only one who had obtained the secret technique of death. The others had probably only obtained the secret technique of life. Why is it only incomplete? Or, the secret skill of life in the Jade Wall of Life isn't complete? Ling Xiao pondered. According to Ji Feishuan, the Ji clan's Mount Martial treasury had a long heritage that could even be traced back to Empress life. It contained a complete life mystic technique. Only by obtaining the life mystic technique could one control the cyclic sword and become the divine emperor of the Great Zhou Divine Kingdom, or even the head of the Ji clan. However, after Ji Chufeng became an immortal emperor in the past 1 million years, nobody else had obtained the complete life secret skill. Of it. Ling Xiao's eyes flashed. That was very likely. Ling Xiao could feel that the secret skill of life and secret skill of death he obtained were incomplete. It was probably less than 1/10 of the complete secret skill of life. This filled Ling Xiao's heart with regret. While Ling Xiao obtained the secret skill of life and the secret skill of death, Ji Chufeng, who was sitting cross-legged in a secret chamber in the imperial city of the heavenly capital, slowly opened his eyes. Whoosh! Two black divine lights pierced through the void. They contained an evil and cold light. They didn't look like the eyes of a human. Instead, they looked like the eyes of a ferocious beast. The Martial Mountain has opened, and the life source beast has appeared. Most importantly, Ji Feishuan has returned. Whether or not we can open, that supreme treasure will depend on this. Ji Chufeng muttered to himself. His voice was filled with excitement and fanaticism. Don't worry. I can feel that the item is on Ji Feishuan. She is indeed the person chosen by the ancestors of the Ji clan. As long as the Zhou Tian mirror is opened, you can use her as a blood sacrifice. Not only will you be able to become a saint, but you will also be able to control the Zhou Tian mirror. A charming female voice sounded from Ji Chufeng's body. It was extremely tempting. You're right. I've waited for 1,000,000 years. Once I control the Zhou Tian mirror, the Ji clan will definitely be able to restore the glory of our ancestors and become an emperor clan again. Ji Chufeng said with fanaticism. His entire body was trembling. Now that everything is ready, we're only one step away from success. I hope you won't forget your promise after you succeed. The charming female said slowly. Don't worry. Once I become a saint and control the Zhou Tian mirror, I will definitely reconstruct your body and help you be reborn. Ji Chufeng smiled proudly. I believe in you. The rest is up to you. Although Ling Xiao had obtained the incomplete parts of the secret skill of life and the secret skill of death from the Jade Wall of Life, he was still puzzled. Even if Ji Chufeng had done something, he couldn't figure out how Ji Chufeng erased the other parts of the secret skill of life and the secret skill of death and left them incomplete. Buzz! Not long after, a ray of light flashed in the void. Ji Feishuan carried the life source beast and arrived in this chaotic space. I didn't expect you to be faster than me. Ji Feishuan looked at Ling Xiao in shock. The 18 levels of hell were extremely terrifying. Even now, Ji Feishuan still felt a lingering fear. If not for the help of the life source beast, it wouldn't have been so easy for Ji Feishuan to pass the 18 levels of hell so quickly. She did not expect Ling Xiao to be faster than her with just his own strength. Just how tenacious was this man in front of her? I was just lucky. Did you also go through the 18 levels of hell? Ling Xiao smiled when he saw Ji Feishuan. That's right. It's the 18 levels of hell. It's a terrifying place. I didn't expect that in order to comprehend the secret skill of life, one must first understand the meaning of death. Fortunately, Little White was here at the crucial moment. Ji Feishuan sighed softly. Little White also raised its little head proudly. How can one know life without knowing death? This is because there's not only the secret skill of life, but also the secret skill of death. Ling Xiao smiled faintly. Secret skill of death. Ji Feishuan's body trembled. She also saw the two ancient stone tablets in front of Ling Xiao. They were emitting black and white divine lights. In an instant, two ancient scriptures merged into Ji Feishuan's sea of consciousness. Chapter 1762. Rumble. Ji Feishuan's body blossomed with a blazing radiance, causing the surrounding primal chaos void to violently tremble. The black and white divine radiances intertwined on her body, emitting the true intent of death and life, causing her to appear incomparably mysterious at this moment. Ji Feishuan's glabella glowed, and an extremely mysterious world seemed to appear behind her. A peerless figure seemed to have appeared from the endless years, exuding an invincible aura that could suppress the 9 heavens and 10 earths. This is the Empress Shadow in the Tao Comprehension Sea. Could she be the legendary Life Empress? Ling Xiao's body trembled as he thought to himself. Buzz! After the figure appeared, the chaotic void began to tremble violently. An ancient mirror also flew out from Ji Feishuan's body and floated in the void. It seemed to be able to illuminate the heavens and myriad worlds. Billions of miles of the galaxy appeared in 2 colors, black and white. One side was as black as ink and contained an endless amount of death qi, while the other side was as white as snow and seemed to contain a vast amount of life qi. The Mirror of Zhou Tian. After the appearance of the Mirror of Zhou Tian, Ling Xiao felt as though the chaotic void was about to shatter, and an incomparable joy and excitement filled the air. The more intense the true intent of death and life qi emitted from Ji Feishuan, the more dazzling the Mirror of Zhou Tian became. Ling Xiao even felt as though Ji Feishuan was about to become the owner of this world, as a vast amount of power erupted from her body. Buzz! However, the true intent of life and death disappeared from Ji Feishuan's body all of a sudden. The light of the Mirror of Zhou Tian also dimmed instantly, and the surroundings gradually returned to normal. The mirror of Zhou Tian seemed to be extremely unwilling, but it still turned into a ray of light and shot into Ji Feishuan's body. So that's how it is. Ji Feishuan slowly opened her eyes, revealing a strange expression. Junior sister Ji, what's going on? Ling Xiao asked in confusion. Ling Xiao, do you know what the jade annulus of life is? Ji Feishuan did not answer Ling Xiao's question directly. Jade annulus of life? Isn't that the place that contains the secret technique of life? Could it be that it has other uses? That's right. The jade annulus of life is not just the jade annulus of life. The jade annulus of life is the true body of the Zhou Tian mirror, and the Zhou Tian mirror in my hand is only its artifact spirit. Ji Feishuan said slowly. A light flashed in her palm and the Zhou Tian mirror appeared in her hand. It was dazzling and gorgeous. Black and white intertwined as if it contained the profundity of life and death. The real body of the Zhou Tian mirror. Could it be that the Zhou Tian mirror is? Ling Xiao's heart skipped a beat as he thought of a certain possibility. He could not help but tremble violently. That's right. The Zhou Tian mirror is an extreme Dao monarch weapon. It was left behind by our ancestor, the Life Empress. To be exact, it should be called the Zhou Tian mirror of life and death. One side can determine life, and the other side can determine death. Everything in this world is under the control of this mirror. That's why you can see that there are not only life's secret techniques, but also death's secret techniques. Ji Feishuan said slowly with a tinge of emotion in her eyes. Extreme Dao Emperor Weapon. Zhou Tian's life and death mirror. Ling Xiao's heart was in turmoil. What was an extreme Dao Emperor weapon? It was an extreme Dao supreme treasure that a great emperor had spent his entire life refining. It contained the supreme heavenly Dao that a great emperor had comprehended. Its power was terrifying and even comparable to a real great emperor. The reason why the monarch clans were called monarch clans was because they possessed the bloodline of a great emperor. More importantly, they had an extreme Dao Emperor weapon to protect their fate. The reason why the 12 immortal sacred grounds could stand tall in the divine world for hundreds of millions of years was also because of the protection of the extreme Dao Emperor weapon. Otherwise, their orthodoxies would have been destroyed long ago. It could be said that as long as there was an extreme Dao Emperor weapon, it could create a supreme sacred ground and a great force. If someone could control an extreme Dao Emperor weapon, it would be equivalent to having a great emperor protecting him. Not only would he possess monstrous combat strength, but he would also be destined to become a supreme expert in the future. Ling Xiao did not expect that the life jade annulus in the Musashi Mountain was actually an extreme Dao supreme treasure left behind by the Life Empress. The life and death mirror of Zhou Tian could determine the life and death of a person. There was no exception. It sounded extremely domineering. However, why would the life and death mirror of Zhou Tian be here? Moreover, no one had been able to open it for so many years. As if she saw the doubt in Ling Xiao's eyes, Ji Feishuan explained, "My Ji clan has been around since the ancient times. We have experienced a few great calamities, including the terrifying great calamity of the era. The life and death mirror of Zhou Tian was also damaged in the end. The weapon spirit and the body were separated. I don't know which ancestor placed the weapon spirit in the Void Saint world and placed the body in the Musashi Mountain to form the life jade annulus. This life jade annulus is extremely mysterious. Even a sage could not tell its true origin. It's the life and death mirror of Zhou Tian. It's extremely difficult to make the life and death mirror of Zhou Tian recognize you as its master. Not only do you have to obtain the weapon spirit, but you also have to comprehend the secret skill of life and the secret skill of death. Moreover, you have to have the bloodline of my Ji clan to be able to do all of this. However, although there were outstanding people in my Ji clan who managed to comprehend the secret skill of life and the secret skill of death, they could not find the weapon spirit of the life and death mirror of Zhou Tian. Therefore, they could not open the body of the life and death mirror of Zhou Tian. Gradually, some people even forgot the original appearance of the life jade annulus. Moreover, as the bloodline of the Ji clan became thinner and thinner, only some people could comprehend the secret skill of life. They could not even comprehend the secret skill of death. I see. In that case, you're the one who's destined to be the master of the life and death mirror of Zhou Tian? Ling Xiao exclaimed in surprise. It should be. However, I still lack one condition. That is, I have to obtain the complete secret skill of life and the secret skill of death. However, someone tampered with the life jade annulus. The two secret skills are already incomplete. Therefore, when I tried to control the life and death mirror of Zhou Tian, I was forcefully interrupted and ultimately failed. A trace of regret appeared in Ji Feishuan's eyes. This information was obtained from the life and death mirror of Zhou Tian after Ji Feishuan obtained the secret skill of life and the secret skill of death. It was a pity that the incomplete secret skill of Zhou Tian didn't allow her to control the life and death mirror of Zhou Tian. It's Ji Chufeng's doing, right? Why would he do that? In other words, he already knew that the Jade Wall of Life was the Heavenly Cycle Death Mirror, but he didn't have a device spirit and couldn't control the Heavenly Cycle Life and Death Mirror. That's why he tampered with it. He didn't hesitate to let other people participate in the Musashi Mountain over the past million years. Ling Zhao's thoughts kept spinning in his mind. A trace of light appeared in his eyes as he voiced his guess. You're right. It's Ji Chufeng. If I'm not wrong, this martial mountain has probably been set up as a trap by him and is waiting for us to fall into it. Chapter 1763. In the sky above the Musashi Mountain, Ji Chufeng stood in the air with an indifferent expression on his face. His eyes were blazing with divine light. He held the Zhou Tian sword in his hand and stared at the Jade Wall of Life below him. The aura around him became more and more terrifying. Ji Chufeng, you can begin. A charming woman's voice sounded from Ji Chufeng's body. It was filled with endless temptation. Holy girl, if the Styx Blood Sea array you laid out really helps me control the Zhou Tian life and death mirror, I'll let you go immediately. Moreover, I'll reconstruct your body. But if you dare to lie to me, don't blame me for making you wish you were dead. Ji Chufeng said coldly. Don't worry. The river Styx Blood Sea formation is the supreme killing formation of my clan. It can even refine a saint, let alone these half-saints. I won't lie to you. The charming woman said. Very good. Array, rise. Ji Chufeng nodded in satisfaction. In an instant, his eyes flashed with a dazzling sharpness as he shouted coldly. Rumble. The void trembled, and the entire Musashi Mountain began to tremble violently. 49 blood-colored pillars rose up from the Musashi Mountain in an instant. They were like heavenly pillars, reaching a height of 1,000,000 zhang. Each pillar was ancient and mysterious. Golden runes were engraved on them. Furthermore, there was a sinister and terrifying figure that appeared. It was like a demon god from the primordial era. It emitted an aura that made one's mind tremble. When the 49 blood pillars rose up, the Martial Keep Mountain was shrouded in a blood-red light. The majestic vitality of the Martial Keep Mountain contained all kinds of precious and rare herbs, all kinds of powerful rare birds and strange beasts. There were even a few demon beasts comparable to the 9th Revolution half-saint. All of them roared. Their eyes revealed a look of incomparable fear. But in the end, they were all swallowed by the blood-red light. A terrifying sea of blood spread out and rose from the foot of Mount Musashi. The waves rose to the sky and headed straight for the top of Mount Musashi. Its target was the Jade Annulus of Life. The boundless vitality contained in the entire Mount Musashi had turned into a vast sea of blood at this moment. It was like a vast river that stretched across millions of miles in the sky. It contained extremely terrifying energy ripples. Death energy overflowed into the heavens, the sea of blood boiled, all life was devoured. The Styx's Blood Sea formation finally released its terrifying power. 1,000,000 years. I have finally waited for this day. As long as I can control Zhou Tian's life and death mirror, I can break the fate of my Ji clan and restore the glory of my Ji clan. So what if he destroyed Musashi Mountain? Even if I have to destroy the entire Great Zhou Divine Kingdom, I won't hesitate. Ji Chufeng's eyes were filled with incomparable madness. Terrifying qi intertwined around him as he controlled the majestic power of the Styx Blood Sea Array and charged toward the Jade Wall of Life. Ji Chufeng was enveloped in a layer of blood-red light, which made him look extremely evil. The boundless blood-red light in the sea of blood boiled and even turned into blood-red flames that enveloped the entire Jade Wall of Life and began to burn fiercely. Rumble. The void trembled violently. The 36 stone futons in front of the Jade Wall of Life trembled violently under the interference of the blood-red flames. The majestic vitality was devoured one after another, and the process of comprehending the Jade Wall of Life was interrupted. Everyone woke up from the Tao comprehending realm at this moment, and their expressions changed drastically when they saw the scene in front of them. What? What's going on? Weren't I in the 18 levels of hell? How did I wake up? Is this also an illusion? This must be the test of the Jade Wall of Life. It must be. Everyone's expressions changed drastically, and their eyes were filled with incomparable terror. Ji Feishuan and Ling Xiao exchanged glances, and their eyes revealed a trace of piercing sharpness. They both understood that Ji Chufeng had made his move. This was indeed a trap. Rumble. As the sea of blood surged, the vast deathly aura converged into the Nether River and enveloped the entire Jade Wall of Life. The blood-red flames burned fiercely, constantly refining the Jade Wall of Life. Although Ling Xiao and the other 36 people were protected by the Barrier of Life, the Nether River Blood Sea Array was constantly absorbing the energy of the Barrier of Life. They could feel that the Barrier of Life was getting weaker and weaker, as though it could collapse at any time. Look, that's Divine Emperor Ji Chufeng. Someone exclaimed in surprise. Everyone raised their heads at the same time. When they saw Ji Chufeng in the sky, their eyes were filled with disbelief. They never thought that this terrifying array was actually controlled by Ji Chufeng. Ji Chufeng's frenzied gaze made them shudder. Father, what are you doing? Quickly get me out of here. Sitting on the 36th futon, Ji Tian's face was filled with surprise and joy as he hurriedly shouted. However, Ji Chufeng acted as if he didn't hear Ji Tian's cry for help. His expression was still indifferent, and his eyes were filled with madness. He continued to control the Styx Blood Sea Grand Formation, wanting to refine everyone and then kill them all. Father, quickly save us. Father, I don't want to die here. Please save me. Apart from Ji Tian, Ji Chen, and a few other princes were also among the 36 people. At this moment, their bodies were trembling as they shouted, and their eyes were incomparably bloodshot. Ji Chufeng's body trembled, and a trace of pity appeared in his eyes. However, it was immediately replaced by madness and indifference. He said indifferently, "It's your honor to be able to become the nourishment for my blood sacrifice Zhou Tian's mirror of life and death. You should be happy to die under the Nether River Blood Sea Array. Tian, Chen, Rui, it's time for you to sacrifice yourselves in order to break the fate of the Ji clan." Ji Chufeng, you're really ruthless. As the saying goes, a great man has to be ruthless. Once your son dies, you can just give birth to a bunch of sons. They should be happy to help you control the mirror of life and death Zhou Tian. The charming woman smiled. Everyone was stunned. Although many people did not understand what the mirror of life and death Zhou Tian was, they understood that Ji Chufeng wanted to sacrifice all of them. Most importantly, he did not intend to let Ji Tian, Ji Chen, and Ji Chufeng off. They were Ji Chufeng's biological sons. As the saying went, even a vicious tiger would not eat its cubs. Even the ferocious demon clan would not kill their own children, but Ji Chufeng intended to kill his own children. Ji Chufeng, you're really crazy. Ji Tian is your biological son. How can you kill him? Chapter 1764. Ji Chufeng, I'm the saint of the Heavenly Curse sect. Let me go if you know what's good for you. Otherwise, the saints of the Heavenly Curse sect will raise your great Zhou divine nation to the ground and let you die without a burial. Lu Yun said coldly. That's right. Ji Chufeng, let me and brother Lu Yun go. I think your great Zhou divine nation wants to be destroyed. How can you be so deranged? The entire divine world won't tolerate you. Wang Dao said with a gloomy look. His face was ugly. He could feel the terror of the Styx blood sea formation. Even a ninth revolution demonic saint demonic beast would be turned into a pool of blood in an instant when the bloodlight rolled out. Except for the 36 of them who occupied the stone cattail hassock and had the protection of the life-bounded domain, the other hundreds of people who had been eliminated had been turned into ashes at this moment. Ji Chufeng was determined to keep everyone here at all costs. He didn't even plan to spare his own son. Father, you really want to kill us? Why? Why is this so? Ji Tian, Ji Chen, and the other princes were pale. Their eyes were filled with disbelief as they trembled uncontrollably. They didn't expect Ji Chufeng to be so deranged. He didn't hesitate to sacrifice his son to refine Zhou Tian's life and death mirror. Everyone was puzzled. They couldn't believe that Ji Chufeng would be so deranged. Only Ling Xiao and Ji Feishuan knew that Ji Chufeng had gone mad in order to obtain the Zhou Tian's life and death mirror. He wanted to kill everyone, especially Ji Feishuan. As long as he refined Ji Feishuan and merged the artifact spirit of the Zhou Tian's life and death mirror with his own body, he would be able to control the extreme Dao Emperor weapon through his special blood sacrifice. Even a true saint would go crazy for an extreme Dao Emperor weapon, let alone Ji Chufeng. You're about to die and you still dare to threaten me? You're really courting death. Let me tell you the truth. Today, all of you will die. No one will be spared. The Zhou Tian's life and death mirror is the extreme Dao Emperor weapon of my clan. Tian, Chen, as long as I control the extreme Dao Emperor weapon, our Ji clan will definitely become an emperor clan and dominate the heavens. For the sake of our clan's hegemony, I can only sacrifice you. Ji Chufeng said coldly, but his voice was cold and emotionless. Rumble. With that, the Styx blood sea formation surged even more violently. Blood-red flames burned the space and devoured everything. Even the life barrier was unable to endure such terrifying power. Ji Sky was originally sitting cross-legged on the last stone futon, and the power of the life enchantment was also the weakest. At this moment, the power of the river Styx blood sea grand array erupted, and the life enchantment suddenly exploded. Ah! No! Ji Sky's eyes were filled with incomparable fear. He roared, but the monstrous blood-red flames surged over and directly swept him into the sea of blood. The terrifying power of the formation erupted and directly turned him into a pool of blood. Ji Tian's voice came to an abrupt halt. Everyone's faces instantly became incomparably terrified. It turned out that Ji Chufeng had really gone mad. He had even killed the son he cared about the most. At this time, there was no longer any hope in their hearts. This was especially true for the last few people on the stone praying mats. At this moment, their bodies were trembling. Their faces were incomparably pale, and their eyes were filled with despair. Kacha! Soon, the two geniuses on the 34th and 35th stone praying mats, who were both Third Revolution half-saints, also died in the river Styx blood sea grand array with blood-curdling screams. Ling Xiao, it seems like we're really going to die here this time. This formation is even more terrifying than the de Zhou Tian's invisible sword formation. I'm afraid that even a true saint would be annihilated here. I've implicated you. Ji Chufeng smiled bitterly, and his voice transmitted into Ling Xiao's sea of consciousness. Ling Xiao's eyes flashed as he said, "Junior sister Ji, don't give up so early. Perhaps there's still a chance. If you can control the Zhou Tian's life-death mirror before Ji Chufeng performs the blood sacrifice, we might still have a chance of survival." Easier said than done. Ling Xiao, unless I can obtain the complete secret arts of life and secret arts of death, perhaps there's still a chance. However, the complete secret arts of life and secret arts of death are in Ji Chufeng's hands. How can he give them to me? Ji Feishuan said with a bitter smile. Ji Chufeng had calculated everything clearly. After all, he had planned for 1,000,000 years so that he could completely control the Zhou Tian's life-death mirror today. He only left the incomplete secret arts in the Jade Wall of Life in order to attract people to the Musashi Mountain. Ji Feishuan no longer had any hope in her heart. The complete secret arts of life and secret arts of death. That might not be the case. Junior apprentice Sister Ji, do your best. As for the secret arts of life and secret arts of death, leave them to me. I'll definitely give you the complete secret arts of death. Ling Zhao's eyes flashed as he stared at the Musashi Mountain that was enveloped by the sea of blood. Ling Zhao, don't be rash, Ji Feishuan panicked and hurriedly tried to persuade him. However, before she could finish her words, Ling Zhao's body flashed, and he instantly turned into a dazzling ray of light that shot out of the protection of the stone futon. Rumble. The blood-red flames that filled the sky surged towards Ling Zhao. They contained a monstrous baleful aura and an aura of death, causing Ling Zhao to feel chills all over his body. Even with his strong physical body, there was no way he could withstand such terrifying power. However, Ling Zhao's expression didn't change. A light flashed in his palm, and the cyclic sky seal instantly expanded and floated above his head. It sprinkled rays of dazzling light that protected him. Ji Chufeng had mobilized the power of the Styx's blood sea array and swallowed the majestic vitality that had been nurtured in the Musashi Mountain for millions of years. Naturally, it also broke the barrier that prohibited the Saint Dao energy. Ling Zhao could now use the cyclic sky seal to protect himself. Martial Uncle Long, what are you doing? Come back quickly. Ni Shang, Wu Xiong, and Gao Yang were also taken aback by Ling Zhao's actions. Their eyes were filled with anxiety as they hurriedly yelled, "Hurry up!" Even Ji Tian, an 8th Revolution half-saint, had died in the Styx's blood sea array in an instant. Even if Ling Zhao had the cyclic sky seal, they didn't think that he could withstand it for long. Swoosh! Ling Zhao's gaze was extremely sharp. When he flew out of the life barrier, his terrifying saint aura filled the air as he mobilized the power of the cyclic sky seal. Like a bolt of purple lightning, his speed was extremely fast as he blasted towards the nearest blood pillar. Chapter 1765. Rumble. The light of chaos bloomed. The flipping sky seal contained a terrifying power that could annihilate everything. It bloomed directly on the blood pillar. In an instant, endless blood light filled the air. The blood pillar suddenly burst into pieces. Long Outyin broke the Styx blood sea array. Everyone's body trembled, and their eyes revealed an incomparably pleasantly surprised expression. Even the few people who were on the brink of despair had regained their spirit at this moment. Long Outyin, as long as you save me, you'll be the savior of the 5 Dao sect. Senior Long, quickly break this array and save us. If Senior Long has any orders in the future, the Tian Luo sect will do anything for you. Senior Long, I was wrong. I shouldn't have followed Lu Yun and Wang Dao to scold you. As long as you save me, I'll scold those 2 bastards to death. Everyone began to make a big fuss, treating Ling Zhao as their savior, their only hope of escaping from this place. Everyone could see that the Styx blood sea array's foundation was the 49 blood pillars. Now that Ling Zhao had destroyed one of them with the cyclic sky seal, they saw the hope of breaking the array. Long Outyin. You really don't know what's good for you. Could it be that you think you can break my Nether River Blood Sea Grand Formation? Ji Chufeng's eyes turned cold, and his eyes were filled with icy killing intent. Rumble. Black and white divine light rose behind him, containing the true meaning of life and true meaning of death. They intertwined and pressed forward, and in an instant, the Styx blood sea array began to roll violently. The blood pillar that was destroyed by Ling Zhao reappeared out of thin air. Ling Zhao's eyes narrowed. He realized that the 49 blood pillars were actually condensed from the true meaning of life and true meaning of death. They were the true form of the great Tao and were not solid, but they were even stronger than solid. There was no way to completely destroy them. If Ling Xiao wanted to completely destroy the Styx Blood Sea array, he would have to kill Ji Chufeng and destroy the 49 blood pillars at the same time. Rumble. Ji Chufeng's eyes were cold as the blood-red light in the sky surged towards Ling Xiao. From the 49 blood pillars, terrifying blood demons rushed out one after another and charged towards Ling Xiao with a sinister smile. Is there no way to destroy it? Then I'll drain the Styx's Blood Sea Grand Formation dry. Ling Xiao's eyes also revealed a trace of madness. Translator, Transin editor, Transin the flipping sky seal shone brightly, like a black divine mountain floating in the blood sea. It emitted a chaotic mist to protect Ling Xiao. Ling Xiao's entire body emitted a resplendent light, and a purple sun bloomed on his chest. In that instant, an incomparably terrifying devouring power erupted. Ling Xiao directly used the power of the wordless heaven book and sky-devouring secret technique. A terrifying purple vortex formed on his chest, and he used the indestructible saint technique as a disguise. Everyone only thought it was his indestructible calamity seed. They were unable to sense the presence of the wordless heaven book and sky-devouring secret technique. Boom! It was as if the void had been shattered. Purple chi spread out for 30,000 miles, covering the sky and the sun. It was as if a new sun had just leaped out of the sea and swallowed all the bloodlight in the sky. Even the extremely ferocious blood demons were crushed by the purple chi, turning into blood-red energy that merged into Ling Xiao's body. This was the first time Ling Xiao used the wordless heaven book and sky-devouring secret technique in the divine world. Although there was a risk of exposing the wordless heaven book, Ling Xiao had no choice but to give it his all. The Styx's Blood Sea Grand Formation was simply too terrifying. Even though Ling Xiao and Ji Feishuan were ranked on the first 2 stone praying mats, and their life enchantment was incomparably powerful, they still could not escape death after everyone else died. In order to break out of this situation, Ling Xiao had to let Ji Feishuan control the Zhou Tian's life and death mirror. Ling Xiao had already obtained the fragments of the life secret technique and death secret technique from the life jade wall. However, as long as the wordless heaven book could obtain enough energy, it would be able to fully display the 2 secret techniques. This was Ling Xiao's greatest trump card. As long as the life secret technique and death secret technique were completed, Ji Feishuan would be able to control the Zhou Tian's life and death mirror. Rumble. The wordless heaven book also began to get excited. Ever since Ling Xiao came to the divine world, it had not eaten a full meal for a long time. The wordless heaven book seemed to be extremely fond of dark and evil energy. For example, the Styx's Blood Sea Grand Formation in front of Ling Xiao was formed by Ji Chufeng converting the boundless life energy of the Musashi Mountain into death energy and blood energy. These were great supplements for the wordless heaven book. As the energy of the Styx's Blood Sea Grand Formation was devoured by Ling Xiao, the wordless heaven book also emitted a resplendent light in Ling Xiao's sea of consciousness. The life secret technique and death secret technique also began to gradually become complete. At the same time, the wordless heaven book also returned a portion of its energy into Ling Xiao's body. The boundless life energy was boundless and unparalleled. It flowed through Ling Xiao's limbs and bones, causing his aura to increase explosively. Not good. This Long Out Yen is able to devour the formation's energy. It's too strange. I wonder if it's some kind of divine ability or secret technique that he cultivates himself or a treasure on him. Ji Chufeng's expression changed slightly. He could feel that the energy of the Styx's Blood Sea Grand Formation was fading away. Previously, in Tian capital, Ling Xiao had unleashed a powerful devouring power and devoured part of the Zhou Tian's invisible sword formation's energy. This left a deep impression on Ji Chufeng. He did not expect Ling Xiao to use the same trick again. Devouring the energy of the Styx's Blood Sea Grand Formation. He's really courting death. Even if he has the flipping sky seal, he has to die. Summon the Styx's blood saint to explode and kill him. The charming woman was also slightly surprised, but she immediately sneered and said, "Don't worry. The Styx's blood saint? All right." Ji Chufeng frowned slightly. The entire Styx's Blood Sea Grand Formation had only nurtured 49 Styx's Blood Saints. It had taken him millions of years to nurture them, and they were his greatest reliance. Almost every one of them had the power of a 9-revolution half-saint. However, their battle prowess far exceeded that of a 9-revolution half-saint. If the 49 Styx's Blood Saints fused together, they would be as powerful as a saint. However, Ji Chufeng was also a ruthless person. He would not allow anyone to destroy his plan to control the Zhou Tian's life-death mirror. For this, he even killed his own son. Styx's Blood Saint, kill him. Chapter 1766. This was the Nether River Blood Saint, a terrifying existence born from the Nether River Blood Sea Formation. Rumble. The two Nether River Blood Saints attacked at the same time. They rushed toward Ling Xiao. Horrible bloody light shone in all directions. Their qi was overwhelming. It was as if they only had the instinct to kill. Ling Xiao's eyes flashed. He realized that the two Nether River Blood Saints were powerful, but he was engulfing the power of the Nether River Blood Sea Formation and had no time to care about them. Plus, he believed in the power of the Flipping Sky Seal. Rumble. Under the control of Thunder's Spirit King, the Flipping Sky Seal exploded with terrifying power and crashed into the two Nether River Blood Saints. The two Nether River Blood Saints didn't dodge. Instead, the blood-red light around them exploded. The two Nether River Blood Saints blew themselves up against the Flipping Sky Seal. The terrifying blood-red light spread out and shattered the void. The Flipping Sky Seal was drowned by the blood-red light. The self-destruction of the two Nether River Blood Saints was like two real saints. The terrifying power sent the Flipping Sky Seal flying. Even Ling Xiao, who was protected by the Flipping Sky Seal, felt his blood boil. He tasted something sweet in his throat and blood trickled down the corner of his mouth. Master, this is not good. The two blood-red figures are too terrifying. Although they aren't as powerful as real saints, they aren't far off. I'm afraid the Flipping Sky Seal won't be able to hold on for long. The Thunder Spirit King said anxiously. His voice was weak. Clearly, the self-destruction of the two Nether River Blood Saints had injured him. After all, Thunder Spirit King hadn't become a saint yet. He couldn't completely control the power of the Flipping Sky Seal. No matter what, we have to hold on. If we can't, we'll all die. Once I devour enough energy, it will be Ji Chufeng's death. Ling Xiao said with a hint of madness in his eyes. Okay. Let's fight. Master, don't worry. Even if I die, I won't let this bastard hurt you. The Thunder Spirit King instantly became furious. Rumble. There was a bloody mist around Thunder Spirit King. It was the blood of the Blood God, the most original power in Thunder Spirit King's body. Instantly, it merged into the Flipping Sky Seal. The Flipping Sky Seal seemed to have awakened an incomparably terrifying power. It was ancient and mysterious, shaking the heavens and rolling in the endless blood sea. Even the Styx Blood Sea Formation could not cover the light of the Flipping Sky Seal. Damn it! Styx River Blood Saint, let's see how long you can last. Ji Chufeng's face darkened. He could feel that Ling Xiao was still devouring the power of the Styx Blood Sea Formation. However, Ling Xiao was protected by the Flipping Sky Seal and was like a tortoise shell. Ji Chufeng found it difficult to attack him. He summoned 10 blood saints of the Styx River. They were like 10 blood-red suns rising from the blood sea, emitting a terrifying aura. The 10 figures rushed toward the Flipping Sky Seal at the same time. Rumble. The 10 blood saints of the Styx River exploded at the same time. The terrifying power was 10 times or even dozens of times stronger than before. The terrifying power hit the Flipping Sky Seal, causing it to tremble violently. The power of the void shattering poured into the Flipping Sky Seal, causing Ling Xiao and Thunder Spirit King to be injured to varying degrees. The Flipping Sky Seal buzzed and shook violently. In an instant, it broke free from the bloody light and turned the 10 blood saints of the Styx River into a bloody mist. Ling Xiao took the opportunity to activate the power of the wordless heavenly book and devoured all the bloody mist and bloody energy in the sky. Puff! Ling Xiao spat out another mouthful of blood. His aura became weak, but his eyes became brighter and crazier. Ha ha ha! I'll kill you. I'd like to see how many blood demons you can summon. Thunder Spirit King laughed crazily. Although his aura had become extremely weak, he still patted his chest. Immediately, a bloody mist of primordial spirit spread out and poured into the flipping sky seal. Rumble. Ling Xiao was still devouring the power of the Styx River Blood Sea formation, causing the void to tremble violently. It was as though a bloody storm had formed. However, during this process, another dozen or so stone mats had their life barriers broken. The dozen or so geniuses on them all screamed as they turned into a bloody mist, becoming nourishment for the Styx Blood Sea array. Brother Lu, what should we do? I don't think Long Out Yen can hold on for long. When the life-bounded domain is broken, I'm afraid we'll all die here. Wang Dao, the holy son of the Five Elements Saint sect, said with a hint of anxiety in his eyes. I don't know what to do either. In this Styx River Blood Sea formation, it's impossible for us to send a message to the sect. Now, we can only hope that Ling Xiao can hold on for a while longer. Lu Yun said with a bitter smile. There was a trace of disappointment and despair in his eyes. Only now did they realize that the status of Holy Son that they were so proud of was nothing in the face of absolute strength. Ji Chufeng could even kill his own son, let alone the two of them. Ji Chufeng really deserves to die. However, I seem to have heard of Zhou Tian's life and death mirror. It's an extreme Dao Emperor weapon from ancient times. Could it be that Ji Chufeng wants to sacrifice us to refine Zhou Tian's life and death mirror? Wang Dao said slowly with a trace of blazing light in his eyes. So what if it's an extreme Dao Emperor weapon? There's nothing we can do now. If the sect knows about this, they'll definitely send out holy ancestors to take back Zhou Tian's life and death mirror at the cost of billions of lives in the great Zhou divine nation. Lu Yun said slowly. Both of them felt a sense of helplessness in their hearts. They could only watch helplessly as the life barriers of the 36 stone praying mats were broken one after another. Then, the geniuses within them were killed by the Styx Blood Sea array. However, there was nothing they could do. Rumble. The blood-red divine light that filled the sky poured into Ling Xiao's body, making the wordless heavenly book in Ling Xiao's sea of consciousness even more dazzling. An ancient and mysterious aura bloomed. The wordless heavenly book was surrounded by chaotic energy, as if a mysterious shadow of a world was emerging. The secret arts of life and secret arts of death were becoming more and more complete. All Styx River Blood Saints, explode. Kill Ji Feishuan. Ji Chufeng's eyes revealed a trace of ferocious killing intent as he pointed at Ji Feishuan. He actually gave up on targeting Ling Xiao. Instead, he summoned all the blood saints of the Styx River. He wanted to completely destroy Ji Feixian's life force barrier and kill her. Chapter 1767. Rumble. The remaining 37 Nether River Blood Saints emerged from the blood pearls at the same time. They were surrounded by bloody light and exuded an aura of death that could annihilate everything. Ling Xiao's continuous absorption of the energy of the Nether River Blood Sea array had alerted Ji Chufeng. Seeing that even the 12 Nether River Blood Saints couldn't break through the defense of the flipping sky seal, Ji Chufeng decided to stop targeting Ling Xiao. Instead, he summoned the 37 Nether River Blood Saints to attack Ji Feishuan. As long as he could break Ji Feishuan's life enchantment and kill her, he would be able to control the Zhou Tian mirror of life and death. All he had to do was spend more time to refine it. You're courting death. Ling Xiao's eyes flashed with a murderous intent. Although Ji Feishuan was sitting on the first stone futon and the life enchantment was the strongest, Ling Xiao wasn't sure if the life enchantment could stop the 37 Nether River Blood Saints. If Ji Feishuan died in Ji Chufeng's hands, it wouldn't be of much use even if Ling Xiao obtained the complete secret technique of life and secret technique of death. Rumble. Ling Xiao's terrifying saint aura exploded. He controlled the flipping sky seal and turned into a ray of purple divine light. He pierced through the void and blocked Ji Feishuan's path. Thunder's Spirit King also began to fight with all his might. The flipping sky seal was pushed to the extreme by him. It turned into a mountain that was tens of thousands of feet tall. Chaotic mist filled the air as purple divine light rose, illuminating the area like the sun. You're courting death. Heavenly Lady, it's up to you now. Ji Chufeng's eyes were indifferent. He revealed a hint of mockery as though he had expected Ling Xiao to come to Ji Feishuan's rescue. Don't worry. I like this little brother's body very much. Hee hee, the charming woman giggled. In an instant, she turned into a red shadow and also merged into the Styx Blood Sea formation. She silently flew towards Ling Xiao. Rumble. 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 The 37 Nether River Blood Saints all activated their strongest power. They began to swell, and their bodies shone with blood-red light. They were like blood-red suns rising into the sky. Then, they exploded with a loud boom. The blood-red light crashed into the flipping sky seal, causing it to tremble violently and shatter the void around it. Chaotic mist filled the air as terrifying fluctuations were released. It was as if the world was going to be destroyed. Ling Xiao's body also shook violently. Every explosion caused him to spit out a mouthful of blood, causing his face to turn even paler. The cyclic sky seal was strong, but it was only a holy treasure. Ling Xiao's cultivation was still too weak. He couldn't fully control the power of the cyclic sky seal. The self-destruction of the 37 Nether River Blood Saints had dealt an unimaginable blow to the cyclic sky seal. It had also severely injured Ling Xiao. Otherwise, if it were any other flawless holy treasure, in the face of such a suicidal explosion, it would have been blown to smithereens long ago. Crack! A blood-colored divine light enveloped Ling Xiao and Ji Feishuan. The blood-colored divine light contained the energy of death and intertwined with the true meaning of life. It caused the life barrier around Ji Feishuan to tremble violently. Fortunately, most of the power of the self-destruction of the 37 Blood Saints of the Styx River was blocked by Ling Xiao and the flipping sky seal. In the end, only a small part of it landed on the Ward of Life. Although the power of the Ward of Life weakened, it was still blocked in the end. Ling Xiao, you don't have to risk your life like this. Ji Feishuan's eyes were filled with worry. She was even touched and deeply touched, but there was nothing she could do. Ling Xiao stood in front of her. Although his body was trembling violently, he did not take a step back. His spine was like a peerless divine sword, proud and unyielding. At this moment, Ling Xiao's figure was forever imprinted in Ji Feishuan's heart. Ha ha ha! Ji Chufeng. Could it be that you only have this much power? Nether River Blood Saint. You're just an undeserved reputation. I'm right here. I'd like to see how you're going to kill us. Ling Xiao's face was extremely pale, but his eyes were extremely bright. He revealed an unruly sharpness as he laughed heartily at Ji Chufeng. Rumble. The purple divine sun on his chest spewed out light. Although the self-destruction of the 37 Nether River Blood Saints caused unimaginable damage to Ling Xiao and the flipping sky seal, Ling Xiao did not give up on devouring the power of the Nether River Blood Sea Array. He even devoured the remaining power of the 37 Nether River Blood Saints. The flipping sky seal became a little dim. The Thunder Spirit King also became dispirited. His figure became extremely illusory as though he would fall into a deep sleep at any time. As the majestic blood-red energy was devoured by Ling Xiao, the wordless heavenly book exploded with a dazzling light. The secret skill of life and the secret skill of death were completely perfected at this moment. The ancient heavenly book slowly opened. The mysterious pattern seemed to contain the truth of heaven and earth. Lines of runes merged into Ling Xiao's sea of consciousness and formed two extremely ancient and mysterious scriptures. Heavenly Star Constellation Number 23, Secret Skill of Life. The 24th Heavenly Dipper Secret Skill of Death. The true meaning of these two supreme secret skills merged into Ling Xiao's primordial spirit. It was as though he had experienced hundreds of millions of life and death situations in an instant. He saw the origin of life and death. His entire body began to emit an extremely ethereal aura. Long out Yen, you deserve to die. Ji Chufeng's expression was a little ugly. He revealed a monstrous killing intent. He did not expect that the self-destruction of the 37 Nether River Blood Saints would not be able to kill Ling Xiao. These 49 Nether River Blood Saints were the trump cards that he had accumulated for 1,000,000 years. Now that they had all gone to waste, his heart was bleeding. However, as long as he could obtain Zhou Tian's life and death mirror, as long as he could control this Supreme Emperor weapon, everything was worth it. Ji Chufeng continued to mobilize the power of the Nether River Blood Sea Array to attack the people on the stone futon. Ji Feishuan was naturally the most important. Buzz! At this moment, a blood-red shadow silently approached Ling Xiao. The space rippled like water. The blood-red shadow emitted a faint fragrance and shot into Ling Xiao's sea of consciousness at an extremely fast speed. At this moment, Ling Xiao was completely attracted by the secret art of life and the secret art of death. When the blood-red shadow entered his sea of consciousness, he suddenly became alert. Who are you? Chapter 1768. Buzz! The crimson shadow flashed and instantly turned into a woman in red. Her figure was very hot, and her skin was as white as jade. Her black hair was like a waterfall, sparkling and resplendent. Her face was incomparably beautiful. Her red lips were like fire, her nose was high, and her big eyes were full of charm. Every frown and smile of hers was full of charm. People who saw her couldn't help but praise her. She was really a peerless beauty. What a handsome young man. I like your body. Let me take over your body, okay? The woman in red giggled. Her voice was as clear as a bell, which made people's hearts skip a beat. You want to take over my body? You're Ji Chufeng's subordinate, right? You're just a spiritual body. You? Ling Xiao smiled faintly as a sharp light flashed in his eyes. It was as if he was not affected by the charm of the woman in red at all. The woman in red in front of him was full of death aura. It seemed that her cultivation was similar to Thunder's Spirit King's, but there was an unfathomable fluctuation. She seemed to be a 9th revolution half-saint, but she seemed to have the cultivation of a saint. Ling Xiao became alert. He was ready to use the wordless heavenly book to take down the woman in red at any time. Hee, young man, don't underestimate me. I'm very powerful. Come, obediently offer your body to me. I'll definitely love you dearly. The woman in red's eyes moved. Her whole body was full of a kind of drowsy fluctuation. It shrouded Ling Xiao, and she also flew towards Ling Xiao's primordial spirit. Ling Xiao smiled faintly. His eyes were very clear, and there was a hint of mockery. Rumble. The wordless heavenly book trembled slightly. When the woman in red flew towards Ling Xiao, it suddenly bloomed with bright light, and directly shrouded the woman in red. This is, the wordless heavenly book. The woman in red's face changed greatly. She was in disbelief. Whoosh! A blood-red light flashed around her body. She wanted to escape from Ling Xiao's sea of consciousness, but she crashed into the powerful barrier of the wordless heavenly book. The wordless heavenly book exuded a majestic devouring power, as if all the worlds in the universe were about to be turned into dust by this devouring power. Ha ha ha. I really didn't expect this. For millions of years, countless people have been searching for the wordless heavenly book. Who are you? Why do you have the wordless heavenly book? What is your relationship with the Scarlet Dragon War God? When the woman in red saw the wordless heavenly book, her body trembled. She laughed loudly and stared at Ling Xiao. Why do you have so many questions when you're about to die? All you need to know is that you're going to die today. Ling Xiao said indifferently, his voice extremely calm. I didn't lose at all. You are the successor of the wordless heavenly book. No wonder you want to devour the energy of the River Styx Blood Sea Grand Array. Only the wordless heavenly book can obtain the complete secret art of life and secret art of death. You want to help Ji Feishuan turn the tables, right? If you spare my life, I can rely on you. The woman in red said calmly as she stared at Ling Xiao. Spare you? You have no value to me. Ling Xiao said slowly. Of course I have value. Long Outyen, I know all of Ji Chufeng's arrangements. I also know how to break the river Styx Blood Sea Grand Array. I even know how to control Zhou Tian's life and death mirror. The woman in red said. Oh. Ling Xiao's eyes flashed. The wordless heavenly book's aura gradually calmed down. Although it still enveloped the woman in red, it did not continue to devour her energy. All right. Tell me how to break the river Styx Blood Sea Grand Array, and I can spare your life. Ling Xiao nodded and said. Don't worry. Since you have the wordless heavenly book, Ji Chufeng is destined to be defeated. I am the Nether Tribe's heavenly lady, and this river Styx Blood Sea Grand Array is the Nether Tribe's supreme holy array. It is formed by 49 heavenly blood pillars. If you want to break the river Styx Blood Sea Grand Array, the key is Zhou Tian's life and death mirror. If you teach Ji Feishuan the secret art of death and secret art of life, she will definitely be able to control the main body of the Zhou Tian's life and death mirror. When the time comes, as long as we destroy Mount Musashi, the river Styx Blood Sea Grand Array will be broken. The woman in red said without holding back. The Nether Tribe's heavenly lady? Alright, if you want me to spare your life, give me a trace of your origin spirit. Ling Xiao said indifferently. The Nether Fairy did not hesitate at all when she heard that. She decisively offered up a trace of her natal origin spirit. It flew towards Ling Xiao like a beam of blood-red light. Since Ling Xiao controlled the Nether Tribe's origin spirit, it was equivalent to controlling her life and death. As long as Ling Xiao willed it, the Nether Tribe's heavenly lady would definitely die. Ling Xiao did not expect the Nether Tribe's heavenly lady to be so sensible. He continued to suppress her under the wordless heavenly book. Ling Xiao's body flashed as he flew towards Ji Feishuan. You're not dead. Ji Chufeng's eyes widened in shock as he revealed a look of disbelief. He knew how terrifying the Nether Tribe's heavenly lady was. He believed that even a saint would fall into the Nether Tribe's heavenly lady's trap if he was not careful, let alone Ling Xiao. How did Ling Xiao do it? If I'm not dead, it's time for you to die. Ling Xiao sneered as a trace of piercing killing intent flashed in his eyes. Whoosh! Ling Xiao's speed was extremely fast as he traveled through the blood sea. In an instant, he arrived near Ji Feishuan. Then, his glabella shone brightly as two ancient and mysterious scriptures were directly imbued into Ji Feishuan's sea of consciousness. The complete secret technique of life and secret technique of death. Ji Feishuan was initially surprised and doubtful. However, when she sensed the secret technique of life and secret technique of death, her body trembled as her eyes revealed a look of incomparable joy. Ji Feishuan did not have the time to ask where Ling Xiao obtained the secret technique of life and secret technique of death. She immediately sat down cross-legged and accepted the inheritance of the two great secret techniques peacefully. Long Outyen, how dare you ruin my plans? You're courting death. Ji Chufeng's eyes were incomparably gloomy. He vaguely felt that something had happened to the Nether Tribe's heavenly lady. The Nether Tribe's heavenly lady was extremely important to him. If it wasn't for the Nether Tribe's heavenly lady's help over the past 1,000,000 years, he would not have been able to set up such a big plan. The Nether Tribe's heavenly lady was also of great use to him. He did not expect her to die in Ling Xiao's hands. He felt that Ling Xiao was extremely strange, especially when he saw an extremely strange fluctuation of aura being emitted from Ling Xiao and Ji Feishuan. This made him feel uneasy. Rumble. The blood-red light around Ji Chufeng's body soared into the sky and dyed his clothes red. Streaks of blood-red light rose into the sky and transformed into a gigantic blood demon that pounced towards Ling Xiao and Ji Feishuan. Chapter 1769. Only 7 out of the 36 stone praying mats were left. Only Ling Xiao, Ji Feishuan, Wu Xiong, Gao Yang, Lu Yun, Wang Dao, and the Blood Origin Pill Saint were still alive. Get lost. Ling Zhao's gaze was extremely cold. The space between his eyebrows shone brightly as the 9 heavenly Tao primal chaos tablets turned into a powerful barrier that enveloped him and Ji Feishuan. Translator, Atlas Studios Editor, Atlas Studios. The flipping sky seal swept across the sea of blood and killed the blood demons one after another. However, Ling Zhao was already at the end of his tether. After all, he was severely injured previously and the Styx's blood sea formation was too terrifying. Even Ling Zhao could not bear it anymore. Puff! Ling Zhao's body trembled as he spat out a mouthful of blood. Not good. Long Outyan can't hold on any longer. Lu Yun's body trembled as an extremely ugly expression appeared in his eyes. Damn it, doesn't he have the cyclic sky seal? Why can't he break through the Styx's blood sea formation? Could it be that we're really going to die here? I can't accept this. The Heavenly Choice Convention is coming. I can't accept dying here. Wang Dao's body trembled as well. His eyes were bloodshot and filled with unwillingness. Rumble. At this moment, Ji Feishuan, who was originally sitting cross-legged on the stone praying mat, suddenly emitted a bright light. A mysterious brilliance enveloped her as the surrounding void began to tremble. Ji Feishuan soared into the sky as grand Dao immortal flowers bloomed in the sky. Golden lotuses filled the air as the majestic and vast Dao true intent was extremely terrifying. Waves of sound waves spread out, causing the Styx's blood sea formation to surge even more violently. At this moment, the jade wall of life that was enveloped by the Styx's blood sea formation suddenly trembled violently. In an instant, it emitted a boundless light as it soared into the sky. Black and white divine lights lingered behind Ji Feishuan, causing her to emit a strange fluctuation of life and death. The jade wall of life trembled violently in the void as layers of stone peeled off. Boundless light illuminated the sky as propitious qi rose and surged. An ancient stone mirror appeared from within. One side was black, and the black light was like the condensed death qi. The other side was white, and the white light emitted a majestic vitality. The two types of life and death qi were perfectly fused in the ancient mirror. An incomparably mysterious energy fluctuation formed between Ji Feishuan and the ancient mirror. As the two of them gradually approached each other, an energy that caused one's heart to tremble was emitted between heaven and earth. Zhou Tian's life and death mirror. Impossible. It's impossible. If you don't have the complete secret art of life and secret art of death, how can you activate Zhou Tian's death mirror? G's of the life of life was death of life of the of life of life of life of life of life of life. He had racked his brains and used millions of years to plan everything so that he could completely control the mirror of life and death, an extreme Dao Emperor armament. For this, he did not hesitate to destroy the Ji clan's forbidden land, the martial treasury mountain, sacrificed many geniuses and experts, and even killed his own son. Wasn't it all for the sake of controlling the mirror of life and death? However, an extremely mysterious connection was formed between the mirror of life and death of Zhou Tian and Ji Feishuan. He could not accept it at all. Ah! I'm going to kill you. The mirror of life and death of Zhou Tian is mine. No one can take it away from me. Ji Chufen's body trembled violently as his hair danced in the wind. His eyes were blood red and filled with crazy killing intent. Rumble. The Styx's blood sea formation was activated to the extreme by Ji Chufeng. Countless pores on his body began to emit a dazzling blood-red light as if he was about to become one with the Styx's blood sea formation. Blood-red waves surged and streaks of divine light swept across the sky. The sea of blood that filled the sky was about to drown Ji Feishuan. Ji Chufeng had gone crazy. He only wanted to kill Ji Feishuan and take back the mirror of life and death of Zhou Tian. The sea of blood was extremely terrifying and filled the sky with murderous aura. It covered this part of the sky and headed toward Ji Feishuan majestically. Ji Feishuan stood in the air with the mirror of life and death of Zhou Tian floating above her head. Billions of divine light intertwined and merged into her body as if it was injecting some kind of power. Ji Feishuan's aura became stronger and stronger. However, her eyes were tightly shut as if she did not notice Ji Chufeng's attack. Just as the sea of blood was about to drown Ji Feishuan, the mirror of life and death of Zhou Tian trembled slightly. Buzz! A strange sound wave resounded in all directions. The mirror of life and death of Zhou Tian instantly emitted a dazzling light. A black divine light shot out from it and enveloped everyone in the martial treasury mountain. The first to bear the brunt of the light was Ji Chufeng and the Styx's Blood Sea Formation. Rumble. All of a sudden, the Nether River Blood Sea Grand Formation began to tremble violently. In an instant, it shattered into billions of the tiniest blood-red particles. Ji Chufeng's expression changed dramatically. He found that he could no longer mobilize the Nether River Blood Sea Grand Formation's power. The mirror of life and death of Zhou Tian spun and emitted a white divine light. Boundless vitality surged violently. The mirror of life and death of Zhou Tian devoured all the blood-colored particles in the sky like a whale swallowing the sea. Then, they turned into a majestic vitality and entered Ji Feishuan's body. Rumble. Ji Feishuan's aura became stronger and stronger. The space between her eyebrows shone brightly and the peerless figure began to solidify. The mirror of life and death of Zhou Tian emitted a strange fluctuation that completely enveloped Ji Feishuan. No! Ji Chufeng's eyes were incomparably red as he revealed an extremely desperate expression. He had paid a huge price for the mirror of life and death of Zhou Tian. In the end, the mirror of life and death of Zhou Tian fell into Ji Feishuan's hands. This was a huge blow to him and he couldn't accept it at all. Ji Chufeng's body flickered with blood-colored light. His aura became evil and dark as if he was about to go mad. Ji Chufeng, 1,000,000 years ago, you killed my parents for the secret art of life and secret art of death. It turns out that your goal was to obtain the mirror of life and death of Zhou Tian. Today, you will die a worthy death under the mirror of life and death of Zhou Tian. Ji Feishuan's eyes were sparkling and her aura was incomparably ethereal and mysterious. She looked at Ji Chufeng indifferently and her voice was very calm. There wasn't a trace of hatred in her voice. Buzz! The mirror of life and death of Zhou Tian flashed and a black divine light shot towards Ji Chufeng. Ji Chufeng's eyes were blood-red and filled with unwillingness and resentment. He opened his mouth as if he wanted to say something, but in the end, he didn't say anything and turned into nothingness under the black divine light. His soul had completely dissipated. This fellow is finally dead. Ling Xiao heaved a sigh of relief. He instantly felt that his entire body had become extremely weak and was riddled with wounds. Piercing pain came from every part of his body. Ni Shang, Wu Xiong, Gao Yang, Lu Yun, Wang Dao, and the Blood Origin Pill Saint's eyes also revealed the joy of surviving a calamity. Chapter 1770. Rumble. Zhou Tian's life and death mirror appeared and the Styx River Blood Sea array was broken. The secret realm of the Musashi Mountain could no longer withstand such a terrifying force and shattered into pieces. Ni Shang and the others, who were protected by the boundary of life, were hit by the terrifying force. The boundary instantly shattered and they spat out mouthfuls of blood as if they were struck by lightning. Fortunately, they had the cultivation of a sage to be. Even if the space was shattered, their physical bodies could withstand it. Therefore, they all used their divine abilities and escaped from the chaotic void. Bright light flickered and a few streams of light fell like meteors. They all appeared in the sky above Tian capital. The power of the shattering void also came towards Ling Xiao. However, before Ling Xiao could block it, a bright white light shot out from Zhou Tian's life and death mirror. It contained a majestic life origin and instantly shot into Ling Xiao's body. Boom! Ling Xiao's body, which was originally riddled with wounds, was nourished by the life origin qi like rain after a long drought. He quickly recovered. The injuries of his physical body, primordial spirit, and Saint Dao Law injuries all healed rapidly. Ling Xiao's aura also became stronger and stronger. As expected of an extreme Tao Emperor weapon. Ling Xiao sighed softly. His injuries were very serious and he probably needed to rest for a period of time before he could fully recover. However, a white light from Zhou Tian's life and death mirror healed him in an instant. He could not help but be amazed by the heaven-defying power of Zhou Tian's life and death mirror. Little husband, although Zhou Tian's life and death mirror is an extreme Tao Emperor weapon, it is seriously damaged. I don't know how long it will take for it to fully recover to its peak. I'm afraid that your confidant has paid a great price to heal you. The Nether Tribe's heavenly lady giggled. Paid a price? Ling Xiao frowned slightly. He immediately sensed that Ji Feishuan, who was under the protection of Zhou Tian's life and death mirror, trembled slightly and her face turned pale. Obviously, she had paid a price to heal Ling Xiao. However, you don't have to worry. She has already begun to control Zhou Tian's life and death mirror. This price won't affect her much. However, I'm afraid that the entire divine realm has been shaken by the appearance of an extreme Tao Emperor weapon. Your confidant is going to have a tough time in the future. The Nether Clan's heavenly maiden sighed softly. Above the void, Zhou Tian's life and death mirror bloomed with boundless light. Black and white light intertwined, like a mysterious sun surrendering in the sky. The surrounding void trembled, as if all the way of the world had gathered in Zhou Tian's life and death mirror at this moment. Ling Xiao could feel that the power of Zhou Tian's life and death mirror was recovering. That kind of power was extremely terrifying, far surpassing that of a saint. It was like the illusory heavenly axiom, as if it could control the life and death of all living things, dictating the life and death of heaven and earth. That was an extreme emperor's might. The extreme emperor's might that only belonged to an unparalleled emperor permeated the air. It looked sparkling and resplendent, as mysterious as the flying immortal light. However, Ling Xiao could feel that the extreme emperor's might was incomparably terrifying. Experts below the saint realm would probably turn into ashes upon contact with it. Even a true saint would be severely injured if they didn't die. In front of an unparalleled emperor, even if one was as strong as a saint, one could only submit to him. The extreme emperor's might of Zhou Tian's life and death mirror bloomed, radiating in all directions. It was mighty and terrifying, causing countless experts to be shocked as they looked in the direction of the divine capital. Is that the extreme Tao Emperor weapon? I'm afraid that the divine realm is going to be in chaos. Ling Xiao said slowly, as a trace of worry could be seen in his eyes. The appearance of an extreme Tao Emperor weapon would definitely shake the entire divine realm. At that time, many saints would probably take action. After all, the owner of Zhou Tian's life and death mirror, Ji Feishuan, was still too weak. There would definitely be people who wouldn't be able to suppress their greed and would want to snatch it away. In front of an extreme Tao Emperor weapon, even a true saint would go crazy. In the Martial Treasury Mountain, tens of thousands of geniuses and experts had been annihilated. In the end, only 7 people were left. In the great Zhou divine nation's royal family, the peerless geniuses had all died in this battle. However, Ji Feishuan had walked to the end and controlled the Zhou Tian's life and death mirror. Ji Chufeng could be considered as an ambitious and ruthless person. He had planned for 1,000,000 years for the extreme Tao Emperor weapon. However, he had never thought that it would be ruined by Ling Xiao in the end. Extreme Tao Emperor weapon, the Zhou Tian's life and death mirror. We can't let Ji Feishuan return to the War God Temple alive. Lu Yun and Wang Dao looked at each other and saw the blazing and cold-killing intent in each other's eyes. If the War God Temple obtained another extreme Tao Emperor weapon, they might be able to stop their decline and rise again. They might even be able to display the peerless brilliance from 1,000,000 years ago. This was something that the Heavenly Curse sect and the 5 Elements Saints sect were not willing to see. The Zhou Tian's life and death mirror. If my Pill Talisman Mountain can obtain the Zhou Tian's life and death mirror, we will definitely replace the War God Temple and become the immortal Saint Land. This extreme Tao Emperor weapon must fall into the hands of my Pill Talisman Mountain. However, Ji Feishuan's brilliance is too great now. We still need to think about how to obtain the Zhou Tian's life and death mirror. The blood origin elixir saint's eyes revealed a hint of greed. However, he quickly regained his calmness and concealed his aura. He had decided to leave this place for the time being. After all, he had a feud with Ling Xiao and Ji Feishuan. If Ji Feishuan noticed him, she could easily kill him with the Zhou Tian's life and death mirror. Lu Yun, Wang Dao, and the blood origin elixir saint. Ling Xiao's eyes flashed with a hint of cold-killing intent as he looked at Lu Yun, Wang Dao, and the blood origin elixir saint. The three of them knew about the background of the Zhou Tian's life and death mirror. Moreover, they had been enemies with Ling Xiao many times. As long as the three of them were killed, even if the news of the extreme Dao Emperor weapon was leaked, the sages would still need some time to take action. This would buy time for Ling Xiao and Ji Feishuan to escape. Junior sister Ji, kill them. Ling Xiao shouted as his killing intent blazed. He controlled the flipping sky seal and charged towards Lu Yun, Wang Dao, and the blood origin elixir saint. Long out Yen, you'll die a horrible death. Wang Dao and Lu Yun were both startled. Their faces immediately became extremely ugly. After shooting Ling Xiao a venomous glance, they immediately fled into the distance as quickly as they could. The blood origin elixir saint was the fastest. He controlled the 10,000 spirits blood cauldron and turned into a ray of blood light. He wanted to tear the void apart and escape from divine capital. Crack. Chapter 1771. The three of them instantly felt chills running down their spines as the threat of death loomed over their hearts. In the face of such an extreme emperor's aura, they seemed to have no power to resist at all. Lu Yun, Wang Dao, and the blood origin elixir saint were about to die under Zhou Tian's life and death mirror. Boom! Suddenly, the void exploded as an ancient and mysterious golden bracelet flew out from the void and blocked Wang Dao's path. It collided with the black light and dissolved the black light. A black flag flew over from another direction. It was covered with dense golden inscriptions, and it shone with endless light. It also blocked the black light that shot towards Lu Yun. It erupted with an earth-shaking boom, and in the end, it dispersed the black light. However, the blood origin elixir saint was not so lucky. No one helped him. His eyes were bloodshot as he suddenly spat out a mouthful of blood. Immediately, the 10,000 spirits blood cauldron bloomed with dazzling light and protected him. At the same time, she felt that it was not safe, so she took out dozens of defensive talismans and activated them, forming a terrifying barrier of divine light. Rumble. The dozens of defensive talismans exploded. Even the 10,000 spirits blood cauldron, a flawless saint artifact, could not withstand the deadly black light and exploded a moment later. A flawless saint artifact was destroyed just like that. However, the power of the black light was also weakened to the extreme. In the end, it only left a bloody hole on the blood origin elixir saint's chest before it was completely annihilated. Pfft! My 10,000 spirits blood cauldron. The blood origin elixir saint spat out a mouthful of blood. His eyes were filled with pain and anger as he screamed continuously. However, he was very decisive. After shooting a venomous glance at Ji Feishuan and Ling Xiao, his figure flashed and he charged into the space that had been torn apart by the explosion of the myriad spirit blood cauldron, disappearing in an instant. Ling Xiao and Ji Feishuan did not chase after the blood origin pill saint because they were both looking at the sky above Lu Yun and Wang Dao. Their eyes revealed a hint of seriousness. Crack! The void shattered and two figures with monstrous auras descended from the sky. Endless saint aura filled the air and the true will of the great Tao was vast and majestic. Everyone in the heavenly capital trembled and involuntarily knelt down. Two sages had arrived. Greetings, Master. Wang Dao looked at the saint above his head, and his eyes immediately revealed an extremely ecstatic expression. He directly leaped into the air, and then knelt down deeply. The sage was dressed in a white Taoist robe. His hair and beard were all white, and his face was hale and hearty. His entire body exuded an ethereal and otherworldly aura, just like an otherworldly expert. His face was rosy like a baby's, and his body exuded a vast saint aura. His eyes were deep, and they flickered with the light of vicissitudes and wisdom. In his palm, there was a Vajra bracelet. It was simple and mysterious, flowing with crimson light and suffusing with auspicious energy. It was precisely the Vajra bracelet that had blocked a sure-kill strike for Wang Dao just now. Greetings, martial uncle. On the other side, Lu Yun was also extremely excited as he bowed to the black-robed sage in front of him. The black-robed sage's aura was dark and evil, and he was draped in a large black flag. It was Daki who had just saved Lu Yun. He looked like a dark king. Although his face was blurry, his eyes revealed a pair of cold and cruel eyes that could see through life and death. Soul Curse Sage, I didn't expect that the two of us would encounter the birth of an extreme Dao Emperor weapon as soon as we came out of seclusion. This is really a blessing. The white-robed sage said with a faint smile. His gaze fell on the life and death mirror in Zhou Tian, and there was a slight fluctuation in his eyes. Clearly, his heart was not calm. The life and death mirror in Zhou Tian of the Life and Death Empress is indeed a blessing. We have been monitoring the Ji clan for so long, but we didn't find any news about the life and death mirror in Zhou Tian. I didn't expect it to be hidden in Musashi Mountain. Jinda Sage, this life and death mirror in Zhou Tian belongs to my heavenly curse sect. What do you think? Soul Curse Sage's voice was very cold, and there was a kind of fluctuation that made people shudder. Soul Curse Sage, you're too greedy. Since the two of us found it together, the life and death mirror in Zhou Tian should belong to our two sections. Let's take down this little girl first, then we'll discuss who it belongs to. What do you think? Jinda Sage shook his head and said. The two sages stood in the sky, and their terrifying sage aura sealed the entire heavenly capital. They spoke as if there was no one around, and they did not put Ji Feishuan and Ling Xiao in their eyes at all. It was as if the life and death mirror in Zhou Tian was already in their hands. All right. Soul Curse Sage said indifferently. You want the life and death mirror in Zhou Tian? I'm afraid you won't be able to get it with your lives. Ji Feishuan's eyes shone brightly. Her entire body exuded a vast aura as if she had merged with the life and death mirror in Zhou Tian. The extreme Dao Emperor aura circled around her body, and it was extremely terrifying. Little girl, you're just a first revolution half-saint. How dare you speak so arrogantly? Hand over the life and death mirror in Zhou Tian. Such an extreme Dao Emperor weapon is not something you can possess. It will only bring disaster to you. As long as you're willing to hand it over, both of us are willing to accept you as our disciple. What do you think? Jinda Sage smiled faintly as the diamond bracelet in his hand glowed faintly. Accept me as your disciple. Who do you think you are? Cut the crap. If you want the life and death mirror in Zhou Tian, you'll have to exchange it with your life. Ji Feishuan said coldly as the battle intent around her grew stronger. She could sense that Jinda Sage and Soul Curse Sage were not ordinary sages. Their terrifying strength had probably reached the pinnacle of sages. Even if she had the life and death mirror in Zhou Tian, she had to be careful when dealing with them. Ling Xiao, we can't stay here for long. With the appearance of the life and death mirror in Zhou Tian, I'm afraid more and more sages will come here. I'll bring you out of here. Ji Feishuan transmitted her voice to Ling Xiao. All right. Don't worry about me. I have a way to escape. Can you deal with these two sages? Ling Xiao asked. Don't worry. Even sages will have to pay the price if they dare to lay their hands on the life and death mirror in Zhou Tian. Ji Feishuan sneered. Her voice was filled with confidence. If that's the case, you should hurry up and break out of their encirclement. Leave Tiandu City and return to the War God Shrine. As long as you reach the War God Shrine, even if the news of the life and death mirror in Zhou Tian spreads, the War God Shrine will definitely protect you. I'll take advantage of the chaos and leave. Ling Xiao said quickly. Then be careful. Ji Feishuan agreed. Although she had the life and death mirror in Zhou Tian, it was still difficult for her to protect Ling Xiao. After all, they were facing two powerful sages. Since Ling Xiao had a way to escape, she could stop the two sages and create an opportunity for Ling Xiao to escape. Kid, since you're so stubborn, don't blame me for being rude. Chapter 1772. Rumble. The heavens and earth trembled. The golden bracelet was simple and unadorned, flowing with reddish-golden light. In an instant, rays of sword light were emitted from the bracelet, illuminating the mountains and rivers and shrouding the entire sky above the divine capital. Ji Feishuan's eyes flashed sharply. The Zhou Tian's life and death mirror spun above her head. A ray of black divine light of death shot out with strands of extreme emperor's aura towards the golden bracelet. Kacha! The invincible saint's aura suddenly exploded. The rays of sword light were shattered. The black light instantly shrouded the golden bracelet, causing it to tremble violently. Jinda Saint's eyes flashed. He waved his hand and the golden bracelet flew back to him. The radiance on it had dimmed a little. Although it was just a probing attack, he discovered that the Zhou Tian's life and death mirror was so terrifying. A strand of extreme emperor's aura was able to damage the golden bracelet that he had refined for countless years. Kill her. Murderous intent flashed in the soul-cursed saint's eyes. He slammed his palm down from the sky. There was a black rune in the center of his palm. It looked extremely mysterious and ancient, containing a soul-stirring fluctuation. A huge palm print traversed across the sky like a black devouring vortex. It was going to devour Ji Feishuan's primordial spirit. Jinda Saint also attacked at the same time. He did not dare to use the golden bracelet again. Rays of golden divine light rose from his body. There seemed to be a sun floating above his head, shooting out billions of rays of sword light towards Ji Feishuan. They dared to attack Ji Feishuan because they could tell that she was only a first revolution half-saint. Although the Zhou Tian's life and death mirror was an extreme emperor weapon, it had been severely damaged and had not recovered to its peak. That was why they dared to attack her. Otherwise, if it were a flawless extreme Dao Emperor armament, it would be able to instantly kill them. The two peak saints charged towards Ji Feishuan together. They wanted to snatch the Zhou Tian's life and death mirror from her. Since you want to die, I'll fulfill your wish. Ji Feishuan's body emitted a murderous aura as a dazzling light bloomed from between her eyebrows. She held the Zhou Tian life and death mirror in her hand and unleashed it across the sky. The Zhou Tian life and death mirror emitted a terrifying aura that could illuminate the myriad of worlds and dictate the life and death of tens of thousands of creatures. The aura soared into the sky in a mighty manner, causing everyone to tremble. Rumble. Zhou Tian's life and death mirror stood in front of the two sages, instantly neutralizing all their attacks. Moreover, a terrifying force erupted, surging toward the two sages. Jinda Saint and Soul Mantra Saint's expressions changed, and they quickly retreated. Whoosh! Extreme Monarch's aura erupted, and it was unstoppable. It broke through the Saint Path domains and shot toward Jinda Sage and Soul Mantra Sage. Puff! Puff! Both Jinda Saint and Soul Mantra Saint tried their best to dodge, but a bloody light still appeared on their chests. Both of them grunted and were sent flying. The two sages were injured as soon as the battle began. Little husband, let's leave quickly. Although Zhou Tian's life and death mirror is extremely terrifying, your lover's cultivation is too weak. I'm afraid she won't be able to withstand more than a few attacks from Zhou Tian's life and death mirror. These two old fellas knew that, and that's why they dared to attack. The Nether Tribe's heavenly lady's voice rang in Ling Xiao's mind. Sure enough, Ling Xiao also noticed that Ji Feishuan's face was slightly pale, but her eyes were brighter and sharper, like a peerless divine sword that was unsheathed. Let's wait a little longer. I have to make sure that she can suppress these two. Otherwise, her life will be in danger if I leave. Ling Xiao said slowly, with a hint of determination in his eyes. Little husband, you're really infatuated. Don't you know that even if you stay, you won't be able to interfere in such a battle? Unless you're willing to expose the wordless heavenly book. The Nether Tribe's heavenly lady sighed softly. No matter what, nothing can happen to Ji Feishuan. Ling Xiao said stubbornly. Rumble. The Jinda Saint's body was shrouded in golden light, and a vast and terrifying rune rose behind the soul-cursed saint. It emitted a powerful energy that seemed to be able to interfere with one's primordial spirit as it radiated towards Ji Feishuan. Little girl, your cultivation is too weak. How many more times can you activate Zhou Tian's life and death mirror? If you know what's good for you, you'd better surrender obediently. The Jinda Saint's gaze turned sharp, and at the same time, it became even more fervent. If the Zhou Tian's life and death mirror could unleash such terrifying energy in Ji Feishuan's hands, how terrifying would it be if it fell into their hands? It could even kill saints. You're courting death. I'd like to see what qualifications you have to wield this supreme emperor weapon. The soul-cursed saint's gaze was incomparably gloomy, and the terrifying Saint Dao runes behind him instantly enveloped Ji Feishuan. Each rune was like an immemorial divine mountain, and the majestic runes seemed to have transformed into a vast stretch of mountains and rivers, trying to suppress Ji Feishuan within it. Ji Feishuan ignored them, but her gaze became deeper and deeper. The mysterious light between her eyebrows was unfathomable, and a mysterious figure within it was becoming more and more solid. In an instant, an incomparably terrifying energy was unleashed, and it merged with the Zhou Tian's life and death mirror. Rumble. The Zhou Tian's life and death mirror seemed to have completely awakened. The surface of the mirror was dazzling, and it actually revealed the mysterious illusory image of 3,000 worlds. It seemed like all the living beings in the world were within this ancient mirror. Two divine lights, one black and one white, shot out from the Zhou Tian's life and death mirror. They were like two black and white dragons, intertwined with the true meaning of life and death, and roared as they charged towards the two saints. The runes exploded as the black and white dragon collided with the soul mantra saint. The powerful Saint Dao barrier around the soul mantra saint was blown apart. Terrifying Emperor's aura spread out, as if it wanted to turn the soul mantra saint into dust. Heavenly Soul Curse, kill. The soul curse saint's eyes flashed with killing intent, and he suddenly spat out a mouthful of blood. A green-golden rune rose up, and it rapidly pounced on Ji Feishuan's forehead like a ferocious ghost head, wanting to devour Ji Feishuan's primordial spirit. His entire body took the brunt of the attack from the black and white dragon, and the black flag on his body trembled violently. He suddenly spat out a mouthful of blood, and was directly sent flying. The green-golden rune contained an incomparably mysterious energy fluctuation, and it suddenly appeared in front of Ji Feishuan, and pounced on her forehead. Chapter 1773. 5 Elements Celestial Sword Technique, / The saint roared and countless sword rays flew towards Ji Feishuan, converging into a 5-colored divine sword. It was vast and majestic as it blotted out the sun and split the world into 2 halves. Heavenly Soul Incantation. That's one of the Soul Incantation Saint's 3 killer moves. It had once slaughtered a saint. Even if Ji Feishuan has an Apex Emperor weapon, she won't be able to defend against this secret technique. That's right. My master's 5 Elements Celestial Sword Technique is a peerless killer move that he created himself. The 5 elements circulate endlessly and form a 5 elements sword domain. It will definitely be able to wear down the power of Zhou Tian's life and death mirror. Lu Yun and Wang Dao's eyes lit up as they sneered. Previously, the terrifying power of Zhou Tian's life and death mirror had shocked the two of them. They were extremely nervous, especially when the two saints were injured in a single blow. They were afraid that the two saints would die here. However, it seemed like they were worrying too much. Ji Feishuan's disadvantage in cultivation was immediately exposed when the 2 pinnacle saints unleashed their killer moves. It wouldn't be long before she ran out of energy. At that time, she could only surrender. Rumble. The Heavenly Soul Incantation rune instantly shot into Ji Feishuan's sea of consciousness and headed for her primordial spirit. However, Ji Feishuan's expression was still very calm at this moment. There was no trace of panic on her face. A dazzling light bloomed as a peerless figure appeared in Ji Feishuan's sea of consciousness. Her slender fingers turned into a light palm and instantly shattered the runes of the Heavenly Soul incantation. Instead of decreasing, Ji Feishuan's aura began to surge. The Heavenly Cycle Life and Death Mirror was ancient and mysterious. It was surrounded by an extreme Emperor's aura as it pushed forward. It was as if it was pushing the sun, moon, and stars as it moved forward. Everything in the universe was about to be turned into dust by the Heavenly Cycle Life and Death Mirror. What? The Gold Saint's expression changed drastically as he sensed that the aura of Zhou Tian's life and death mirror had skyrocketed. It was countless times more terrifying than before, causing his scalp to go numb. Rumble. The sword light that filled the sky shattered, and the Heavenly Cycle Death Mirror collided with the huge 5 Elements Celestial Sword. With a loud bang, the 5 Elements Celestial Sword exploded. Originally, the power of the 5 elements was endless. It flowed with each other and was bright and flawless. It could continuously transform into the most powerful domain power and obliterate the opponent within the domain. However, at this moment, it was unable to withstand the power of Zhou Tian's life and death mirror. Even the 5 elements sword domain exploded with a bang. Zhou Tian's life and death mirror did not slow down, and it crashed towards Jinda Sage. Jinda Saint couldn't hide the fear in his eyes. That was an apex imperial weapon. Even if it was damaged, he wouldn't be able to resist it. Once it hit him, even if his saint body was extremely tough, he would be instantly turned into dust. In this world, apart from an extreme monarch weapon, only a supreme martial monarch could clash with an extreme monarch weapon. Swoosh! Jinda Saint gritted his teeth and spat out a mouthful of golden blood. The Vajra bracelet shone brightly. After absorbing the golden blood, it began to expand like a golden mountain and collided with Zhou Tian's life and death mirror. Jinda Saint took the opportunity to break free from the suppression of Zhou Tian's life and death mirror and moved to the side. Rumble. Zhou Tian's life and death mirror collided with the Vajra bracelet. Like a volcanic eruption, an incomparably blazing divine light burst out. The originally tough Vajra bracelet exploded in an instant. It couldn't even stop Zhou Tian's life and death mirror for a moment. Jinda Saint spat out a mouthful of blood and his aura instantly weakened. My Vajra bracelet. You deserve to die. Jinda Saint's eyes were extremely gloomy and his face revealed an extremely pained expression. That was his natal artifact, the Vajra bracelet, a saint artifact that he had refined for countless years. However, it was destroyed by Zhou Tian's life and death mirror just like that. As a result, his hatred towards Ji Feishuan grew. His killing intent was boiling. Buzz! Zhou Tian's life and death mirror flashed and suppressed the Soul Curse Saint again. The Soul Curse Saint's face changed. Even his heavenly soul curse was silently neutralized by Ji Feishuan. Naturally, he didn't dare to face Zhou Tian's life and death mirror head-on. He began to use his fastest speed and quickly moved away from Zhou Tian's life and death mirror. His figure was extremely miserable. In the blink of an eye, 2 peak saints were defeated miserably and the other was severely injured. Lu Yun and Wang Dao widened their eyes in disbelief. They finally understood what the might of an extreme Dao Emperor armament was. Damn it! Are we going to let them go just like that? Lu Yun said unwillingly. If they let Ji Feishuan go, it would be hard to say who would get Zhou Tian's life and death mirror next. That bitch Ji Feishuan cares a lot about Long Outyan. If we can capture Long Outyan, she might just surrender. Wang Dao suddenly saw Ling Xiao in the distance and his eyes flashed. Master, capture Long Outyan. That bitch Ji Feishuan cares about Long Outyan the most. Wang Dao opened his mouth and yelled. The Jinda Saint's eyes flashed. After hearing Wang Dao's words, he also noticed Ling Xiao in the distance. Instantly, a majestic saint aura erupted from his body and he reached out his hand to grab Ling Xiao. A giant golden palm shrouded the sky, containing a power fluctuation that was difficult to resist. Jinda Saint? Do you really think I'm a pushover? Ling Xiao's eyes turned cold. In an instant, a terrifying aura rose from his body. The flipping sky seal emitted a blazing light and blasted towards the Jinda saint. "Master, don't worry. This bastard won't be able to hurt you." The Thunder Spirit King sneered. His voice was full of vigor and his body was emitting a majestic aura of vitality. In the Musashi Mountain, Ling Xiao devoured the majestic energy of the river Styx blood sea array and gave a portion of it to the Thunder Spirit King. In addition, Ji Feishuan used the power of the Zhou Tian life and death mirror to heal Ling Xiao. Even the injuries of the Thunder Spirit King were healed. The flipping sky seal was restored to its peak. Moreover, the Thunder Spirit King was emitting a terrifying aura. He was on the verge of a breakthrough and urgently needed a big battle to break through and level up. The flipping sky seal was the reason why Ling Xiao was so confident. The Jinda Saint and the Soul Curse Saint were the best whetstones. Boom. Translator, Transin Editor, Transin 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 Translator, Transin Editor, Transin. When Ji Feishuan saw this, her eyes flashed. She controlled the Zhou Tian life and death mirror and charged towards the Soul Curse Saint. Instantly, the pressure on the Soul Curse Saint increased. The extreme Tao Emperor's aura was extremely terrifying. It made his scalp tingle and he began to have thoughts of retreating. Damn it! She's just a first revolution half-saint. How can she sustain the Zhou Tian life and death mirror for so long? The Soul Curse Saint's eyes were cold and his face was ugly. He could not figure out the reason. According to his and the Jinda Saint's estimation, Ji Feishuan should have exhausted all the energy in her body after one attack. However, after so long, Ji Feishuan was still getting stronger. He could not understand. Chapter 1774. Within the cyclic sky seal, it was as if the extreme emperor's aura had been activated. Heaven and earth shook, and the four seas surged. Only the cyclic sky seal was able to suppress the myriad of worlds, turning into an eternal light. Even Jinda Saint's expression changed. Boom! Majestic Saint's aura bloomed around Jinda Saint. A metal Dao fruit floated above his head like a dazzling sun. As he pushed his arms out, the divine light in the sky gathered into a boundless sword light and collided with the cyclic sky seal. With a loud bang, the cyclic sky seal trembled violently. However, the extreme emperor's aura that had been awakened instantly turned the boundless sword light into dust and sent Jinda Saint flying. The cyclic sky seal exploded with peerless radiance. At this moment, there was a faint trace of the mysterious intent of Zhou Tian's life and death mirror. Jinda Saint trembled violently, and a trace of golden blood flowed from the corner of his mouth. Crack! On the other side, Zhou Tian's life and death mirror suppressed the void and covered this part of the sky. Soul Mantra Saint had nowhere to run. In the end, he could only clash head-on with Zhou Tian's life and death mirror. Powerful Saint Dao talismans exploded around him. Soul Mantra Saint's body trembled violently, and blood spurted out of his mouth. His eyes were filled with shock and anger. Zhou Tian's life and death mirror was too terrifying. Even if it was a damaged Extreme Emperor weapon, it was still an Extreme Emperor weapon. Even Jinda Saint and Soul Mantra Saint, who were both peak saint experts, were defeated miserably. Ling Xiao, hurry up and leave. I can't hold on for much longer. I'll hold off these two saints for you. Leave this place first. Ji Feishuan's voice suddenly entered Ling Xiao's ears, and there was a trace of anxiety in her voice. Ling Xiao's eyes flashed. He noticed that the peerless figure between Ji Feishuan's eyebrows had dimmed slightly. Ji Feishuan was able to use the power of Zhou Tian's life and death mirror because of that peerless figure. Otherwise, with Ji Feishuan's cultivation base, Zhou Tian's life and death mirror would have sucked all of her cultivation base dry. Alright. Be careful. He also believed that with Zhou Tian's mirror of life and death, as long as Ji Feishuan wanted to escape, the Jinda Sage and the Soul Curse Sage would not be able to stop her. Old men from the Heavenly Curse sect and the Five Elements Saint sect, I will remember you. Ling Xiao glanced coldly at Jinda Saint and Soul Curse Saint. Instantly, the flipping sky seal turned into a beam of brilliant light, enveloping him. At the same time, it also swept up Anai Shang, Wu Xiong, and Gao Yang. They broke through the distant void and instantly disappeared from the sky above Tiandu City. Jinda Sage and Soul Mantra Sage did not care about Ling Xiao at all because Zhou Tian's life and death mirror was once again suppressing them. Rumble. Zhou Tian's life and death mirror contained a vast and terrifying apex monarch aura. Rays of divine light rained down like a vast waterfall, as if the 9 heavenly stars were falling from the sky, intending to crush Jinda Sage and Soul Mantra Sage into dust. Although the 2 sages tried their best to defend themselves, their bodies still trembled violently. They were severely injured and spat out mouthfuls of blood. Ji Feishuan is already exhausted. Stop her, don't let her escape. Jinda Sage's face was incomparably pale, but his eyes lit up when he saw Ji Feishuan's aura become incomparably weak. Zhou Tian's life and death mirror spun above his head, and the terrifying aura also began to recede. You want to leave? Leave Zhou Tian's life and death mirror behind. Soul Mantra Sage's eyes burned with killing intent as he charged towards Ji Feishuan. Behind him, a black storm swept across the sky. Black runes that contained the power to suppress the primordial spirit turned into a huge ghost face, opening its mouth to swallow Ji Feishuan. Jinda Sage, Soul Mantra Sage, you can't stop me. Keep your worthless lives and wait for me to kill you. A cold glint flashed in Ji Feishuan's eyes. In the blink of an eye, the heavenly cycle death mirror shone brightly and directly broke through the black storm. It soared into the sky like a divine dragon and swept Ji Feishuan up before disappearing into the 9 heavens. She's already an arrow at the end of its flight. Chase after her. Jinda Sage and Soul Mantra Sage looked at each other with burning killing intent in their eyes. They tore through the void and chased after Ji Feishuan. They had already locked onto the aura of Zhou Tian's life and death mirror. After all, Ji Feishuan wouldn't be able to hold on for long after this battle. Although the 2 sages were also heavily injured, they still chased after her for the sake of Zhou Tian's life and death mirror. The divine world will no longer be peaceful with the appearance of Zhou Tian's life and death mirror. I must hurry back to the sect and enter seclusion. This time, I won't come out until I've broken through to the 9th Revolution Half-Saint realm. Lu Yun's eyes flashed with a sharp light as he said coldly. I'll go back and enter seclusion as well. Brother Lu, let's join forces again during the heavenly selection meeting. Wang Dao nodded and said. The 2 of them quickly left the divine capital. News of what happened in Tiandu City quickly spread to the entire divine world, causing the entire divine world to be shaken. The appearance of Zhou Tian's life and death mirror? It's in the hands of a First Revolution Half-Saint realm girl. Let's go and take a look. If we can get our hands on an extreme Dao Emperor weapon, our divine sword nation will have a chance to become a holy land. An ownerless extreme Dao Emperor weapon? TSK. This old man wants it. The life and death mirror of Zhou Tian, could it be the supreme treasure of the Life Empress? Legend has it that it contains the secrets of life and death. If I can get my hands on the life and death mirror of Zhou Tian, I'll definitely be able to condense 2 great Dao fruits. That girl is in the divine world. She's heavily injured, she won't be able to escape far. In the extreme north, in the endless barren mountains in the south, in the Buddhist kingdom in the west, in the eastern swamp continent, countless experts were excited when they heard the news. One by one, they began to take action. Many sages who were cultivating in seclusion, old monsters who had lived for countless years, and old antiques took action when they heard the news. They were determined to get their hands on the life and death mirror of Zhou Tian. They wanted to get their hands on this extreme Dao Emperor weapon. Although the 12 immortal Holy Lands had an ambiguous attitude and did not express anything, they still secretly sent out sages to search for Ji Feishuan's whereabouts in the entire divine world. In the divine world, an inescapable net was set up. Some people with evil intentions even set up ambushes around the war god shrine. They thought that since Ji Feishuan was a disciple of the war god shrine, she would most likely return to the war god shrine. The white-clothed war god of the war god shrine took action. Outside the war god shrine, he consecutively killed 3 sages and heavily injured 6 others. He also killed all those who were plotting against the war god shrine, shocking the entire divine world. Chapter 1775. The war god of the war god temple has reached the great saint realm. One of the saints who had escaped released such a piece of news, causing everyone to be shocked. The 4 realms of the divine path were the divine spirit realm, true god realm, divine king realm, and divine king realm. The saint realm also had 3 realms, saint realm, great saint realm, and saint king realm. Of course, there was another realm between the divine path and the saint realm, which was the half-step saint. Only after experiencing 9 nirvana tribulations could one become a true saint. In the divine realm, the vast majority of people were at the 4 realms of the divine Tao. Those who were able to pass through 9 nirvana tribulations and break through to the saint realm could be said to possess supreme talent and exceptional luck. They were extremely rare. Saints controlled the source of the saint realm, and their words were law. They were the overlords of a region, and their strength was terrifying. It was not something a god realm expert could compare with. However, it was too difficult to become a saint. In the past million years, there were not many people who became saints in the divine world, not to mention the great saint and saint king. Those existed in legends, and most of them were old antiques and old monsters. The war god of the war god temple, who became a saint only a few 100,000 years ago, had already broken through to the great saint realm. Moreover, he could kill a saint at the peak, which made everyone incomparably shocked. Ji Feishuan is my war god temple's disciple. If you dare to kill her, you will end up like this. The white-clothed war god said. He was incomparably unyielding. He wanted to protect Ji Feishuan and intimidate the heroes. Many people began to hesitate. A great saint, even saints did not dare to offend. Although the war god temple had declined in these years, it was still one of the 12 immortal holy lands. Many people gave up. However, there were still some people who took the risk. They sneered at the white-clothed war god's words and continued to chase Ji Feishuan. The entire divine world began to stir because of the appearance of Zhou Tian's life and death mirror. More and more experts appeared. The saints that only existed in legends began to enter the eyes of the people. And all of this had nothing to do with Ling Xiao. After Ling Xiao left the divine capital, he sent Anai Shang, Wu Xiong, and Gao Yang back to the war god temple. However, Ling Xiao did not choose to return to the sect. Now that Ji Feishuan had become the target of public criticism, Ling Xiao had also received a lot of attention. Many people were also looking for Ling Xiao, trying to find information about Ji Feishuan from him. The war god temple was not as united as before. Even if they returned to the sect, they might not be safe. Moreover, Ling Xiao had more important things to do. Master, I'm afraid it won't be that easy for you to refine the revival creation pill. After all, this is a supreme holy pill that can only be refined by a pill saint. Moreover, we don't have the pill formula for the eternal creation pill. Thunder Spirit King's voice sounded in Ling Xiao's mind. Perhaps I can try refining the revival creation pill myself. However, the pill formula for the revival creation pill is a problem. The sect may not have it. Ling Xiao's brows furrowed slightly. This was an ancient pill formula that was extremely precious. Ling Xiao wanted to concoct the eternal creation pill to heal the injuries of his 3 senior brothers, the Void Pierce Stage, Chong He, and Lu Wenzheng, helping them regain their saint realm. Young master, if you want the recipe for the rebirth pill, I know a place that definitely has it. The Netherworld Fairy's voice suddenly rang out. Where? Pill Talisman Mountain. Ling Xiao was stunned. His eyes revealed a trace of strange light as he said, Pill Talisman Mountain. That is the holy land of pill refinement masters and talisman masters. Moreover, They are ambitious enough to replace the war god temple as the immortal Holy Land. It is very likely that they have the pill formula for the revival creation pill. There are many ancient pill formulas in the Pill Talisman Mountain. There are even ancient secret manuals and origin sacred medicines. If you can ransack the herb garden in the Pill Talisman Mountain, your cultivation base will definitely improve by leaps and bounds. The Netherworld Fairy said with a smile. All right. In that case, let's go to the Pill Talisman Mountain. Forget about ransacking the herb garden in the Pill Talisman Mountain. I still want to live for a few more years. Ling Xiao said angrily. There were 4 heavenly domains in the center of the divine world. They were the Great Haven Law Domain, the Supreme Clear Heavenly Domain, the Jade Clear Heavenly Domain, and the Supreme Clear Heavenly Domain. The Pill Talisman Mountain was located in the Supreme Clear Heavenly Domain. The heritage of the Pill Talisman Mountain was very long. It could even be traced back to the ancient Heavenly Court. It was rumored that the earliest Pill Talisman Mountain was a place where the Heavenly Court refined pills and talismans. It was also the Holy Land in the hearts of countless pill refinement masters and talisman masters in the divine world. If not for the fact that the Pill Talisman Mountain did not have an extreme Tao Emperor weapon, it would have become the 13th immortal Holy Land in the divine world. Therefore, the desire to obtain an extreme Tao Emperor weapon had become the obsession of the Pill Talisman Mountain. However, the extreme Tao Monarch weapons had their own spirits and chose their own masters. Most of the extreme Tao Monarch weapons already had masters. It was very rare for an extreme Tao Monarch weapon to appear without a master. This made the many controllers of Pill Talisman Mountain feel very helpless. It took Ling Xiao a few months to arrive at the Taiqing Heavenly Domain from the Taiqing Heavenly Domain through the Giant Void Teleportation Formation. Taixian City. Ling Xiao walked out of the Giant Teleportation Formation. He immediately felt a surge of energy of heaven and earth that was not inferior to the Shangqing Heavenly Domain. He could not help but reveal a trace of joy in his eyes. He had finally arrived at the Taiqing Heavenly Domain. This Taixian city was one of the largest cities in the territory of the Pill Talisman Mountain. Ling Xiao could feel that this Taixian city was very large. It had a radius of tens of thousands of miles. The pavilions and towers in the city were magnificent and extraordinary. People came and went on the streets. Every one of them had an extremely powerful aura. In Taixian City, cultivators of the divine realm could be seen everywhere. There were even many cultivators of the half-saint realm. Ling Xiao could even feel a few extremely obscure and powerful auras. Saints. There were actually saints in Taixian City. Sensing the aura of saints, Ling Xiao became more cautious. The Pill Talisman Mountain and the War God Temple were considered hostile forces. If people knew that a disciple of the War God Temple had come here, he was afraid that he would be in trouble. Especially because of the life and death mirror incident in Zhou, Ling Xiao had become the target of many people. Along the way, Ling Xiao encountered many people who were searching for the whereabouts of him and Ji Feishuan. However, Ling Xiao had the sky-shrouding secret technique. His aura was concealed, so he was able to sneak past them quietly. Taixian City was a large city under the rule of the Pill Talisman Mountain. It was also one of the most prosperous cities in the Taiqing Heavenly Domain. Many cultivators would come here to purchase elixirs and talismans. Therefore, there were the most elixir pavilions and talisman towers here. Ling Xiao used the sky-shrouding secret technique to slightly change his appearance and aura. He looked like an elegant young master. He held a folding fan in his hand, and his clothes were whiter than snow. He walked forward casually on the street. Chapter 1776. Sir, our apricot wine is the best in Taixian City. Would you like to come in and have a taste? At this moment, a young man with delicate features blocked Ling Xiao's path. He pointed at an extraordinarily stylish restaurant beside him and asked with a smile. Apricot wine? Ling Xiao's eyes flashed. The apricot wine next to him looked very magnificent. It was carved with jade and was made of 10,000-year-old agarwood. It exuded a strange fragrance. In front of the apricot wine, there were many servants like this young man who were soliciting guests. Ling Xiao could feel that those who entered the apricot wine were either rich or noble. Their auras were strong. Most of them were strong men of the half-saint realm. Although Ling Xiao had changed his appearance and aura, his cultivation had not changed. This young man's eyes were very sharp. He saw Ling Xiao's cultivation at a glance, so he came up to solicit him. Seeing that Ling Xiao seemed to be interested, the young man suddenly became spirited. He quickly said, "Is this the first time you've come to Taishan City?" The apricot wine of Taishan City is passed down by the wine master of Mount Danfu. It is brewed with 999 kinds of precious magic herbs. It has a rich aftertaste and is also very good for cultivation. Even the strong men of the half-saint realm can calm down and consolidate their corporeity. Would you like to have a try? All right. Ling Xiao had nothing to do, so he nodded. This way, please. The young man immediately welcomed Ling Xiao into the apricot wine with a smile and sat down by the window on the second floor. Sir, the apricot wine of our apricot wine is divided into 4 levels: low grade, medium grade, upper grade, and the best grade. They can only be purchased with sacred liquid. Which one do you want? The young man asked with a smile. Sacred liquid is not a problem. Give me a jar of the best apricot wine. Ling Xiao said lightly. Hearing Ling Xiao's words, the smile on the young man's face froze. He said awkwardly, "Young master, our apricot blossom brothel is expensive. Most people order apricot blossom brothels. Apricot blossom wine is expensive." The young man's words left Ling Xiao slightly surprised. After all, the value of the holy liquid was extremely high. In fact, it far exceeded that of the divine stones. 20,000 drops of the holy liquid could buy a powerful semi-sage treasure. However, it could only buy a jar of wine in this apricot blossom house. However, Ling Xiao's interest in the apricot blossom brew was piqued. Here are 30,000 drops of holy liquid. I want the top-grade apricot blossom wine and some side dishes. The rest is yours. Ling Xiao saw the young man's hesitation. With a flash of light, a jade bottle appeared in his hand and he casually tossed it to the young man. You really want the best apricot wine? Good, good, good. Sir, please wait for a moment. The apricot wine you want will be served immediately. The young man caught the jade bottle in a fluster and carefully inspected it. He was instantly overjoyed. He knew that he had met an important guest. He quickly bowed deeply to Ling Xiao and left in a hurry. The most expensive item in the apricot blossom house was the apricot wine. The other dishes were not expensive. Even if he prepared a table of top-grade dishes for Ling Xiao, he would still have a lot of sacred liquid left. It was more than his annual salary. The young man treated Ling Xiao as his god of wealth. Naturally, he was incomparably attentive. In the apricot blossom house, the fragrance of the apricot wine filled the air. The fragrance of the apricot wine made people feel as though they were floating in the air. It was as though their souls had been cleansed and became pure. Everyone was drinking while talking loudly about some of the major events that had happened recently. Have you heard? The war god of the war god temple killed 2 sages on Mount Fubo. I didn't expect the war god to be so nice to the disciples of the war god temple. He actually didn't hesitate to personally kill them. Hehe, what do you mean by nice to the disciples of the war god temple? Isn't it because of the Zhou Tian's life and death mirror in Ji Feishuan's hands? That's an extreme-grade emperor weapon. If the war god temple obtains another extreme-grade emperor weapon, their strength will definitely increase greatly. That's right. However, Ji Feishuan is not stupid. She did not choose to return to the war god temple. I heard that she managed to avoid being hunted down a few times. She even used the Zhou Tian's life and death mirror to severely injure a few sages. I wonder where she is hiding now. You guys don't know, right? Hehe, I heard that 3 days ago, Ancestor Yuan Ling of the Pill Talisman Mountain personally attacked Ji Feishuan in the Eastern Sea. In the end, both sides suffered great losses. Ji Feishuan was beaten into the demon burial abyss by Ancestor Yuan Ling. What? The demon burial abyss is a land of death. Countless great demon sages died there during the ancient times. Even sages did not dare to step into it. Ji Feishuan was beaten into the demon burial abyss. Isn't she doomed? Isn't that so? Unfortunately, the extreme grade emperor weapon, the life and death mirror of Zhou Tian, fell into the demon burial abyss the moment it was born. I'm afraid no one would dare to go in to look for it. Ling Zhao's expression changed instantly when he heard everyone's discussion. Ji Feishuan was beaten into the demon burial abyss by Ancestor Yuan Ling? Ling Zhao's eyes revealed a trace of coldness. He started to feel anxious, but he soon calmed down. He believed in Ji Feishuan. Ji Feishuan had many secrets, especially the peerless figure in between her eyebrows. Coupled with the Zhou Tian's life and death mirror, it was impossible for Ji Feishuan to die so easily. Even if she was beaten into the demon burial abyss, Ling Xiao believed that Ji Feishuan should be able to survive. Ancestor Yuan Ling. Pill Talisman Mountain really couldn't hold back and attacked. A trace of killing intent emerged in Ling Zhao's heart. Master, don't worry. Miss Ji is blessed by the heavens. The owner chosen by the extreme grade emperor weapon won't die so easily. The Thunder Spirit King seemed to have sensed the depression in Ling Zhao's heart and comforted him. That's right. Little husband, Ji Feishuan was able to obtain the Zhou Tian's life and death mirror, which means that she has gained the recognition of the Life Empress. A mere demon burial abyss is not enough to take her life. The Nether Tribe's Heavenly Lady said slowly. Ling Xiao nodded, but his heart was still heavy. Suddenly, everyone quieted down. Ling Xiao saw a man and a woman walking up to the apricot blossom brothel. The man was handsome and had a faint smile on his face. He looked gentle and elegant, giving people a good impression of him. The girl was very pretty, and her figure was very hot. Her skin was snow-white, and her neck was long and slender. She looked like a proud little peacock. Ling Xiao could see that the man's cultivation had reached the 7th revolution half-saint realm, and the girl's cultivation was at the 3rd revolution half-saint realm. The two of them walked side by side, followed by 2 black-robed old men. They were led by a fat man in a brocade robe into the only private room on the 2nd floor.